a.m., HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station. And
right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Van Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Devin McCourty of Football Night in America is going to be on the show to get you ready for Sunday night football. We also are going to head to Detroit. We are expecting Nate Taylor to join us on the show today with ESPN to also get you ready for Sunday night football. We got a very important game between the Chiefs and the Lions. We also have a very important game in college football locally in which the Missouri Tigers play host to the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is the biggest game in the Eli Drinkwitz era. We'll get to that in the show today as well. Again, my name is Carrington Harrison. Rob Brenton here on the show, taking you up until 6 o'clock on this Red Friday. Before we dive into Chiefs and Lions, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. I mean, it'd be great if you could tell two people to check out the show, but you know what? If you could just tell one friend to check out the show, you know what? I would greatly appreciate it. I also need you to remember, and this might be the most important thing of all, I need you to remember that the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. So if you're looking for a place to watch Mizzou this weekend, if you're looking for a place to watch the Chiefs this weekend, if you're looking for a place to just have yourself a great bite to eat and also stop in, get yourself a drink, wind down after a tough day of work, then look no further than our friends over at The Other Place. It feels like we are almost in a place of deja vu. This is basically the exact same scenario that the Chiefs had for their last home game against the Baltimore Ravens. You remember the Chiefs were 1-2 heading into that matchup, coming off a win against the New York Giants, and it felt like they had a very important swing game. Now, I'm going to give you the stats and the difference of starting 3-3 as opposed to starting 2-4. But can we not acknowledge this feels like Final Destination? It feels like deja vu. We've been at this exact same place before. I don't want to overreact because it is still early in the season. It's not late. The leaves haven't all fallen off the trees. They haven't all changed colors yet. It's not cold. It's not completely hoodie season yet. But I also don't want to act like it's super early in the season as well. We are talking about you are at the third pole. You're at the 1/3 mark of the season so far. So it's kind of time to get going if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, I'm not here to overreact, but I do think you have to point out that it is a little bit later in the season and you don't have all the time in the world that you maybe think that you do, especially with, and we'll get to it here coming up in a bit, the schedule that the Broncos have down the stretch. But let's focus in on Sunday Night Football. The Lions are coming into this super banged up. Now, I'm not here making any excuses for the Detroit Lions. It's football. The Chiefs have had to deal with their injuries, their suspensions, and that is just the way that the game is played. But if you look at the Lions right now, their number 1 and number 2 corners are not expected to play in this game. DJ Reed is on injured reserve, so he can't play in this game. Terrion Arnold is another one of their corners. He also is out for this game. So you were talking your number 1 and number 2 corner going to miss this game. Khalil Dorsey, another corner for the Detroit Lions. He's banged up. We're talking about 3 corners in this matchup that are going to be unable to go. And then you look to the safety room, Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. Neither one of those guys practiced on Friday for the Detroit Lions. So we are talking about 3 corners for the Lions banged up and looking to miss this game. Kirby Joseph didn't practice. Brian Branch didn't practice. So if you were talking about all 5 of those players that I've just named, the Lions are going to be down 4 starters in their secondary. We're not even talking about Avonte Maddox, another one of their rotational pieces, who was also a game-time decision with the hamstring injury. So we're talking about a secondary that has 6 guys right now that are dealing with something. Either they're going to be limited in Sunday's game and or potentially miss Sunday's game. That is a massive advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs. One of the positives that I think to come out of Sunday or Monday Night Football is the Chiefs offense potentially turning the corner and you feeling really, really good about this offense. That's the best that I think we've seen this running back room so far this season. You are really starting to fill out and complete your wide receiver room. Hollywood contributed a little bit. Tyquan Thornton contributed. Juju Smith-Schuster contributed. Xavier Worthy practiced today. So your wide receiver room is as good as I think you can expect it to be heading into a matchup like this. So now you got to go into this with an expectation of you can win a shootout and you are prepared to win a shootout. The Lions are too gifted offensively and too balanced offensively to expect you to go into this matchup and hold them to 17 points. I don't really think that's the formula against Detroit. So if it turns out into a shootout, if you're going to need to go offense for offense, I think the Chiefs are in a position in which that's a game that they could win. I wouldn't have felt this way 2-3 weeks ago. I don't think the offense really gave you a lot of reasons to feel that way. But the offensive line is playing really well. Your wide receivers are playing well. You got the best quarterback in the world. You're at home. It's Sunday Night Football. It's under the lights. The importance of this game, it is go time if you are the Kansas City Chiefs against the Detroit Lions. Let me give you this stat because Rob looked this up today because I was very curious to know the numbers. So I'm calling this a swing game. It is a deja vu game. This is the exact same scenario that we were discussing 2 weeks ago whenever the Ravens were coming into town. What happens when you start 2-2? What happens when you start 1-3? Well, now let's kick the can down the road a little bit. What is the difference in starting 3-3 as opposed to starting 2-4? So since the playoffs have been expanded, since the COVID season, so in 2020, teams that started 2-4, there have been 45 of those teams. 7 have made the postseason. 4 of those teams grabbed a wild card spot. 3 of those teams have done it as division champions. Now, I think it is important to note all 3 of the teams that won their division ended up winning a down division. I mean, you had a Washington team that made the playoffs with a losing record. Jacksonville made the postseason with a 9-8 record. The Rams made it and won their division with 10-7. I don't know if that's going to be the high watermark for the AFC West. So, Rob, as we are taking our first look of the day to this matchup, to this game, a couple of things come into mind. This is a very important game. How you feel about the Chiefs heading into this next portion of the season, how we discuss the Chiefs is very different if they are a 3-3 team as opposed to a 2-4 team. It will feel like if you were 3-3 and you have dealt with the injuries that you've had the calls, you've had the penalties, you've had the pick sixes. If you can just be 500, you get Rashee Rice back, you get a couple of games of leg room as you head into that Buffalo Bills game, you're going to get an opportunity to exhale just a little bit heading into that matchup. But if you're 2-4, the feeling is going to be you got a little bit of work to do. You got to win those next 2 games against Vegas or against the Commanders, and you want to put yourself in a position that you're 4-4 heading into the Buffalo game where you head into another really difficult stretch of your season where you go on the road to play Buffalo, on the road to play Denver, you play Indianapolis, you got the Thanksgiving game. You just want to set yourself up for that part where you're not digging yourself out of too much of a hole. This is a really important stretch for the Kansas City Chiefs.
It is super important because I feel like, and maybe we just do this, me and you, every time. Hey, you can't start 0-1 or this happens. You can't start 0-2 or this happens. Hey, 1-2, this is what happens. Now, 2-2, see, you're back to reset. These are the numbers. Like, we can keep pulling the numbers week after week after week. And I feel like every time we pull these numbers, the text line pushes back and says, well, if those guys didn't have 15, there's a lot of season left. And we talked about it earlier in the week. Like, the Chiefs are in a weird spot. They are judged on what we think they will be, not what they have done. So it's kind of go time, though, to your point. Like, 2-4 is not a death sentence. 2-4 is not, board up Arrowhead, the season is over. But 2-4, and you're in a big hole. And you are now spending the rest of the season having to battle back. We can talk later in the show about the Denver Broncos, who are about to go on a run, or at least their schedule indicate they're about to go on a run. So I'm not saying it's must win because it's week 7, week 6 in the NFL. It's not must win. You're playing an NFC team, all those things. But man, 2-4 is just not where you want to be, and it's not something we anticipated when we saw the schedule come out preseason when you have Mahomes, Reed, Kelsey. Even without Rice, we didn't anticipate 2-4, so don't end up in that spot.
I would say in a school analogy sense, it's still relatively early in the quarter, so I don't want to make it seem like failing a test in September or October is the worst thing. You can absolutely still turn things around, still get an A. But, man, you got to start acing some tests at some point. You got to get hot. You got to build some momentum. You got to win back-to-back games. You got to go on a little bit of a stretch here where you win 3 or 4 games and you really get going. So the Chiefs, I don't want to say that it's late in the season, but it also is no longer early in the season. We're at the midway point of October. Halloween is right around the corner. You got to get going in some capacity. And a home game on Sunday Night Football against a team right now that is dealing with a multitude of injuries in the back half of that defense where you feel like you should be able to take advantage of. If a team is going to be down potentially 4 starters in their secondary and your wide receiver core is playing the way that it's been playing, your quarterback is playing at a near MVP level, your offensive line has really turned around over the last couple of weeks, you should be prepared for a shootout. You should be prepared against the best offense in the National Football League that if this turns into a 31-28 game, I think you're equipped to win that game. If this is a 34-28, you got all the weapons, you have all the ability to go out there and do it. So let's see this offense for another game, put it together, and most importantly, avoid the big mistake because that is what has done this team in, and that's what has them right now trying to dig themselves out of a very small hole, being at 2-3. Coming up on the other side, we are going to head to New York and be joined by Devin McCourty of Sunday Night in America. Sunday Night Football is coming to a town. Devin McCourty up next. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those Saturday showdowns. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Every play can change the game, so don't settle for ordinary this season. Feeling good about your college football parlay? Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Maybe turn them into paper airplanes headed to see ya never AT&T and T-Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score report dated 1H2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms apply.
I'm Kristen Press. And I'm Tobin Heath. We're World Cup winners, Olympians, and the hosts of The Recap Show.
Every week, we sit down with the icons, disruptors, and game changers on the field and beyond it to talk victories, heartbreaks, and everything in between.
We've built a space where athletes, change makers, and people creating the future of women's sports can show up and show off as their full, unapologetic selves.
Follow and listen to The Recap Show wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
So the Chiefs and the Lions, they're not the only big game in town this weekend. We'll get to Mizzou and Alabama coming up in just a bit. But let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Devin McCourty, who is a part of Football Night in America. You can catch that starting at 6 o'clock on NBC, also on Peacock, to get you ready for Chiefs and Lions. Devin, happy to have you join us on the show today. You played at Arrowhead as a player. You also have been a part of Sunday Night Football, and you guys have certainly made your trips to Kansas City. What is it that makes Arrowhead so special? What does it make that makes Arrowhead so unique when you get to go to stadiums all across the country?
It starts with your team being good and having the guys in there that draw people to come out. And I still remember going there during COVID when, you know, a lot of stadiums didn't have fans, and Kansas City had a limited number of fans. And still, we're in there, and we're like, damn, it's loud in here. And I think the coolest thing about that stadium is, in the fan base, they know they impact the game. They come there with an opportunity, thinking about how can we create false starts? How can we create penalties to help our team get the victory? It's not just to come and cheer your favorite team on or your favorite players. They feel and they are part of the game, and they impact the game by being loud and sometimes change the dynamic. I still remember 2014 being there on a Monday night, and I think we had 3 false starts. They were getting louder and louder, and, I mean, they just steamrolled us out of there. And obviously the team played well, but the fans brought a lot of energy and juice that made it hard for us.
Right now, we're talking to Devin McCourty. He is with NBC Sports. Devin, I feel like right now in the National Football League, there's just a lot of gray area. I would say on Thursday Night Football, we just saw with Philadelphia. Philadelphia was undefeated. Now they've lost their last couple of games. Kansas City been in 3 straight Super Bowls, off to a little bit of a slow start. You played in this league, so you certainly know about parity and how the league is kind of evenly distributed, so to speak. Right now, man, it feels like everybody is so bunched up together.
Yeah, there's no, what everyone would call, there's no great team right now that you look at and you say, you know, right now they're playing so much better than everybody else, right? Green Bay, the first 2 weeks, we're like, whoa, this Green Bay team, they're Super Bowl contenders. Then they go out there the next few weeks and it doesn't look the same. So I've learned, and, you know, now what I do for a living is we talk about these teams in the league in absolutes every week, and that's our job. But the truth of the matter is not until around Thanksgiving can we really have true expectations on teams. And, I mean, was it 2 years ago we saw Kansas City get destroyed against the Raiders at home on Christmas, and I'm thinking, well, there goes the Kansas City dynasty. It's over with. They come back and win the Super Bowl that year. So even though we'll try to make conclusions in November, some of these teams that have, I would say, 3, 4, 5 of these great quarterbacks, they're always in it, and they always have a chance.
Devin, you and I are around the same age, and I like to make the joke that, like, you and I have been fortunate enough to see a lot of different things. You and I remember Michael Jordan. We also got to see LeBron James. We saw the Cubs win the World Series. We saw the Red Sox win the World Series. I never thought I would see a time in which the Lions were arguably the best team in the National Football League, but it feels like they are right now. Like, what we've seen them do in a short period of time of turning this thing around, it is hard to explain to somebody like you and I because that is not the Lions that we grew up with.
It's so true, and I've been one of those guys that each time the Lions were getting in these big moments, I'm like, all right, they're going to fall here. They're going to fall. And again, but they have a team that's built around their head coach and his mentality, and he's brought that mentality, and I would say it sticks out for a guy like Jared Goff. You know, he's in L.A., he's on the Rams, having great success. We played against him in the Super Bowl, but he morphs into this different guy under Dan Campbell and how he energizes him and how he goes out there and leads the team. They're fun to watch, and I think for Kansas City, this is a type of matchup coming off that Monday night game. Now a short week. The game ends in a weird way where Chris Jones stops on the play, one of your best players, and Harrison Bunker kicks the ball out of bounds. 2 of your better players end up in key moments where they usually deliver. They don't. So now you're like, all right, we got to just get our feet back under us, get going. Oh, yeah, now you got to deal with the Detroit Lions, who's not going to stick their toe in the water to start this game. They're going to come out swinging, throwing haymakers, and if they feel like they got Kansas City in a vulnerable situation, they're going to try to bury them. And I think for Kansas City, this is the kind of test you want. You want to see where exactly you're at, and then in a week you'll get Rashee Rice back, and hopefully I think they'll be thinking now it's time to start rolling these victories and start feeling like ourselves.
Right now we're talking to Devin McCourty of NBC Sports Football Night in America. This feels like such an important swing game for the Chiefs. Not that you're going to bury the Chiefs if they lose this game, but there is a massive difference in being 3-3 when you get Rashee Rice back for next week against the Raiders and being down 2-4. We mentioned the parity in the AFC. Also in the division that Kansas City's in, this is as strong of an AFC West that I think there's been during Patrick Mahomes' career. This is a very important home swing game for the Chiefs.
Yes, you're trying to play your best ball at the end of the season. It's key to pick up the wins along the way, and you don't want to be in the hole 2-4. I remember 2021, we got to 2-4. We ended up making the playoffs, but every game kind of turned into a must-win, and then at the end of the season, when you don't win a game that you feel like you should, it feels like this ultimate letdown because now you're looking at where you fall in the conference. All right, now we're a wild card team, we're a game out, we're this, we're that. You kind of want to be in a situation which Kansas City has lived in where all you're really fighting for is home field advantage, and you feel good each week. So I think it's an important game, not only in the standings, but I think mentally for them as a team to know, all right, we didn't play our best ball, but we still played at 500. Now we're getting a weapon back that's going to make us even better. That's just a better feeling about yourselves, and it gives you the confidence if you walk away and we say, hey, we just took on the best team, the best they have to offer in the NFC right now, and we handled them and beat them, and we're not even at our best. I think that's what they're looking for to go into that next week and get Rashee Rice back.
You mentioned Chris Jones earlier, and that was a big talking point here in Kansas City is about the effort on that final play. That's why I'm kind of looking at him in this matchup. I don't think the Chiefs win this game, not with the various weapons that the Lions have on offense, if you don't get a great version of Chris Jones. You don't need some 3-sack, 2 forced fumbles performance, but you need him to be in the middle of almost everything you do defensively against a team that can run it as effectively as the Lions do, and also a quarterback that can throw for 300 yards if necessary.
Yeah, I think for him and his defense as a whole, this offense is starting to click. Now it's time to get those big stops. It's time to get those turnovers and takeaways to kind of change how these games are being played. You don't want to play every single game comes down to a third down or a fourth down. You want to try to be able to end the game with the ball in your hands, victory formation. So I think the hard thing for me right now when I look at the Chiefs is you look at week 1, you lose to the Chargers. You can argue Chris Jones is probably supposed to stay outside. Maybe they stop Justin Herbert. They have to punt to Mahomes. They go and get the winning drive. Then you lose to the Eagles on a play with Kelsey and Mahomes. Maybe Kelsey doesn't get his head around. Maybe Mahomes throws early. I don't know. But it turns into a big interception. Then you have the Chris Jones. We've never really seen this Chiefs team where their best players end up in the key moments not coming through. We're just so used to saying, oh, well, Kelsey makes a big play. Oh, Chris Jones with a big pressure or sack that ends the game. So I think they mentally got to get that out of their heads and just go play. Every year in this league, you got to redefine who you are and kind of put a stamp on your presence. But when you're the Eagles and when you're the Chiefs, every week you're getting a team's best shot. They want to see where they fall and where they are in the rest of the league, and you are the litmus test. They know playing against you and beating you means they've arrived, so you have to be prepared for that each week.
I want to get your thoughts on the Detroit Lions. Let's focus in on the offense. Really, really impressive. They can do just about everything. They run the ball as effectively as everybody. They throw the ball as well as any team in the league. I feel like all offseason we all wanted to see what that offense was going to look like minus Ben Johnson, and I think they've answered that question. This is still, in my opinion, the most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah, I think one thing we all forgot about was Dan Campbell by nature. He's an offensive mind. He played tight end in the NFL. I think he was very up on what Ben Johnson was doing. So I think he is a little bit of what's left from that offense. Everyone was like, man, Ben Johnson left. He took assistant coaches with him and all of these things. And we kind of forgot, like, man, Dan Campbell's still there. He's still going to be a part of this situation. And what's so hard about the offense, they make you prepare for a lot of different things. They're going to have 2 tight end sets out there. Then they're going to go out there with Khalif Raymond usually in the slot. And we'll have to see where his health is at for this week, but he's in the slot. That's a different type of third receiver. Then Tesla is going to come in, a bigger third receiver, and they're going to make you prepare for Montgomery being in the backfield, then Gibbs being in the backfield, then Gibbs kind of being that receiver. So when you go into the week, you're like, man, this is a lot to prepare for. We got to know when each guy's in this position and that position, and when you have to prepare for so many different things, you don't always get to master one thing or another thing. And then Detroit has the versatility to come in and focus and be kind of primarily in different sets that you won't know until the game gets going. So it's a lot to prepare for. But Spagnola's the type of coordinator that I think as a defense, you go in there confident that he'll have a game plan and be able to stop them a little bit.
I thought Aiden Hutchinson had a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year last year before the injury. I think you're seeing a pass rusher who is really starting to figure a lot of things out. He had the big forced fumble earlier in the season against the Baltimore Ravens where he punched the ball out on Derrick Henry. I'm looking at this on the other side, too. This Kansas City offensive line has really performed very well the last couple of weeks. They got a big-time test against a big-time player here coming up on Sunday night.
Yeah, I love when Kelvin Shepard hasn't just given the offense what exactly they're in, and they disguise or they jump into a different zone. So I think when they do that, they give these pass rushers like Aiden Hutchinson, they give them an extra second and a half to get home. And you see in the Baltimore game, they started out heavily in man-to-man. Baltimore had some drives. Then they started switching up, getting in different zones. Lamar Jackson then had to hold the ball, and when he held the ball, you saw Hutchinson, you saw Muhammad, you saw different guys getting to him and making it hard. And I think Mahomes falls into that category as well. Like, if you just go out there and you give him a look and he knows what it is, he's going to have a field day. So I look for Detroit to try to be multiple, be in different sets, especially if there's no Terrion Arnold. DJ Reed's already out. You go into a game without your 2 top corners, it makes it a little harder. And I think they're going to have to be versatile and multiple in so many different formations, man-to-man, zone, three-man rushes, four-man. I think they're going to have to keep mixing it up and not just give it to Mahomes and make it hard, similar to the play we saw last week in the goal line that Jacksonville did when they jumped out of a blitz zero. Mahomes didn't catch it in time, and they ended up with a pick six.
I'll get you out of here with this last thing. Give me a key for the Chiefs to leave with the victory. Give me a key for the Lions to go to Arrowhead and leave with the victory.
I think for the Lions, I think one of the keys is I think they have to have turnovers. They're top 10 in the league in creating turnovers defensively. You talked about the strip on Derrick Henry. That changed the game against Baltimore. They have to have those game-changing plays. 3 last week against Cincinnati. They need those to make that offense even more high-powered. I think for Kansas City, what I want to see is clean football. Last week, you have, I think it was 2 or 3 penalties on the kickoff return that changed field position. You have the ball that goes out of bounds. I think they need to play clean football. Got away with a pass interference on a McDuffie interception to go out there and just give themselves a chance. When they play clean football, there's not many teams in the NFL that can compete with them, not even be better, just actually compete with them. So I look for them. If they can do that, I think they have a good chance in this game.
That was Devin McCourty joining us on the show. He is an analyst with NBC Sports Football Night in America pregame show airing this Sunday on NBC and also on Peacock ahead of Sunday Night Football, one of the better games this weekend in the sport between the Lions and the Chiefs. Devin, great stuff, man. I love Football Night in America, and you know what? We all been waiting all day for Sunday night, man. Appreciate you popping on today.
Love that, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. That is Devin McCourty joining us on the show. Really excited to catch up with him. Rob, I have to ask you this text line. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this as well. 913-586-7965. I was doing an interview earlier today on the FanDuel network, and the host asked me if I was surprised if the Chiefs were favored in this matchup. If you remember, going back, the Eagles were favored in their game against Kansas City, and the Ravens were also favored in the game against the Chiefs as well. I am a little bit surprised with you guys, to be honest. Obviously, Kansas City can win this game, and it feels like a coin flip kind of game, but the Lions have played better than the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season. So I am a bit surprised that the Ravens were a 2.5-point favorite and the line never really moved in that matchup. And now the Chiefs are 1.5, 2-point favorite at home against the Lions. I wonder if this is the Vegas and the public maybe doesn't believe in the teams that the Lions have beaten so far this season. Maybe it really is a confidence in Mahomes night Arrowhead. But I am a bit surprised that the Lions are the underdog in this matchup. I was for sure when the line came out that it was going to be Lions minus 1.5, possibly Lions minus 2. But I was completely wrong, and the spread has been the exact opposite. The Chiefs have been the favorite and have stayed the favorite this entire week.
I am not surprised at all about the line when you consider what you said in the open. The Lions secondary is beat up. We just saw the Chiefs against the Jags. It looks like that offense has maybe turned a corner, and the Arrowhead factor. Now, I do think it's noting they're not a 4, 5, 6-point favorite. This is basically, for people who bet a lot, this is within the margin of, hey, you're the home team. Because the rule of thumb is the home team gets about 3 points. 2.5 is basically, hey, we think these teams are even considering the injuries and all the stuff, but the game's at Arrowhead. So I'm not like stunned that you're stunned, but I think this is just a product of this game's at Arrowhead at night, and that does mean something in the NFL.
Let's talk a little bit of college football, and I want to remind you guys that our college football coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light and Tanner's are teaming up to make every college game day legendary every Saturday. Rep your favorite college, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets only at Kansas area Tanner's, Bud Light, and Tanner's. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters. All right, let's talk a little bit about Missouri here. No disrespect to K-State, no disrespect to KU, but it feels like this weekend is about Missouri. This weekend is about seeing how legitimate Missouri is. Now, Missouri should be 5-0 up to this point. Missouri is a better football team than Kansas. They also had them at home. Missouri is also better than South Carolina. They also had them at home. Missouri has not yet played a road game, and we are in the middle of October. One of the reasons that people were so optimistic about this Missouri team is the schedule. Well, the schedule did what the schedule was supposed to do. You have played very, very well. You are now ranked in the top 15 in college football, and now, in my opinion, the season starts. I don't care what Missouri did in the early part of the season. Sure, it was great to go back and forth with KU fans and win the game. Sure, it was great to beat South Carolina. But now their season starts. They have 5 inflection points in this season. If they go 3-2 in that stretch and avoid any other pitfall, I believe that Missouri is going to play in the college football playoff. Now, this is my question, and I hate to poke holes in what Eli Drinkwitz has accomplished because he has really turned things around. The first 3 years for Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri, he was 5-5, 6-7, and 6-7. Missouri was average. And then something switched. Something changed. They went 11-2. Last season, they went 10-3, and they are currently 5-0. Missouri is having one of the better regular season runs of any team in college football. Now, Rob, let me poll you on this one. I'm guessing, and I have not asked you this question, you would say that aside from Missouri, the 5 best teams in the SEC during the stretch have been as followed: Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. Maybe you put LSU in that category and you remove Tennessee, but that feels like the list. Missouri only has a win against one of those teams during this stretch. And they also haven't beaten LSU during the stretch. They lost to LSU 49-39. That was Jaden Daniels last year. That was the year that he won the Heisman Trophy. They won at Columbia. I was there. So Missouri, during this stretch, and again, I'm not here to poke holes in what Missouri has accomplished. They don't have a win like this during this stretch. They don't have a win like this under Eli Drinkwitz. This would be his biggest win, and it's not very close. I would say the only other 2 wins that you are maybe throwing in that conversation, maybe you throw the blowout win against Tennessee. You would put that in this conversation, but Tennessee wasn't great at this standpoint. Maybe you put early in his career in 2020, they had a home win against LSU. It wasn't a great LSU team, but it just felt good to beat LSU at home. I'm just trying to think of what wins you would put in this conversation. Maybe the walk-off win against K-State. They had a win against Florida on sort of a last-second kind of play. But we're not talking about the creme de la creme, the top shelf. We're not talking about those marquee programs in college football. Very simple. If Missouri thinks that they are a college football playoff kind of team, then you got to take care of business at home. This is not Nick Saban's Alabama. We saw Florida State dominate this team earlier this season, and Florida State dominated Alabama because they controlled the line of scrimmage and had the ability to run the football. Well, look, what does Missouri like to do? They like to control the line of scrimmage and run the football. Missouri in this game needs to eliminate some of the big plays that they've given up in the passing game. They cannot fall behind early like they did against Kansas. This is not Kansas. You cannot spot them a 21-6 lead in the first quarter of the game the way that you did with the Jayhawks. If that is the case, you are getting run out of the building by Alabama. I think that Ty Simpson is probably one of the 5 best quarterbacks in college football, at least the way he has played so far this season. We already know about Ryan Williams, who's going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft at some point. Bernard's a very, very talented college wide receiver. Not really sure where he falls into an NFL draft perspective, but I'm guessing he's going to play in the NFL at some point. This maybe isn't the juggernaut heavyweight Alabama teams that we grew up with. This is still one of the better teams in the country and a team that is very capable of winning the SEC. Gabe DeArmond said this when he was on with us, and I think it's a very good point. The same way that Gary Pinkel had the win at home against Oklahoma the last time that Missouri hosted College Game Day, it feels like this is Eli Drinkwitz's version of that game. This feels like their 2010 game against Oklahoma at home. Now, it's not at night, but you were playing one of the better teams in the country, a marquee name, a marquee brand, and people are watching this game. Can Eli Drinkwitz get that crown jewel win that right now he just doesn't have on his resume at the University of Missouri?
This is, and I know there's a cut in the folder. It was Brandon Walker, who's over at Barstool, saying this is the biggest game in the history of Mizzou. I don't believe that. But this is Eli Drinkwitz's biggest game at Mizzou, right? Like, maybe you want to say the rivalry because rivalry renewed, KU is in town. KU's not some, rummy. They're not as good as Mizzou, but they're not some nothing. If you want to play that, if you want to play K-State because the time K-State was a really good program, like, that's fine. I'll listen to those conversations. But Eli Drinkwitz has never won this game. He's never won this game. He lost to Jaden Daniels. Last year, we can point out the games where it's like, oh, they were right there, but they finished 9-3 because Eli Drinkwitz lost this type of game. Like, now, what's good and bad for Mizzou is they have this type of game on the schedule 3, 4, 5 times this season. But if you go beat Alabama, and this is what Gabe said, and he said it perfectly yesterday in the show, if you beat Alabama, you now are in a position where you can afford a loss to Vanderbilt. You can afford a loss to Oklahoma because 10-2, you're still good. If you lose to Alabama this weekend, you're in a really bad shape for the college football playoff. Still a great season in Mizzou, but bad for the college football playoff. And this is the kind of game that Drink has not achieved yet at Mizzou. I think he does get that win on Saturday because it does feel like that 2010 Oklahoma-Mizzou game. It feels like everything's in Mizzou's favor. The talent is even. And now Faurot Field is going to be absolutely shaking and rocking. And I think that it's as much who you play, but when you play them, Alabama's on the stretch where they are just getting beat up week after week. They're winning the games, but back-to-back weeks of at Georgia, Vanderbilt at home is a gauntlet for the Tide. So I like the Tigers on Saturday.
Coming up on the other side, we're going to go through the Sunday Night Football player props and get you ready for Sunday Night Football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Our summer sales event is here, and the deals are hotter than ever. Right now, drive home in a brand new 2025 Ford Escape or Bronco Sport starting at under $30,000. Or lease for just $399 a month with 0 down. Need something bigger? Check out the spacious new Explorer, the larger Bronco where you can pop the top and doors off for those nice fall days, or the always tough F-150 STX Crew Cab 4-wheel drive, just 0 down and $499 a month. Lease payments are plus tax, title, and license. And folks, if you haven't checked out the versatile Ford Maverick, you're missing out. At Victory Ford, we have them in stock starting under $30,000. That's unbelievable value, a pickup that even fits right in your garage. Kansas City, if you haven't been behind the wheel of a new Ford lately, now's the time. The build quality is second to none, and we've got the selection ready for you today. So don't wait. Visit us at the Legends in KCK or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than our last.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
This afternoon, expect a mix of showers, thunderstorms, and partly sunny conditions with an 80% chance.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Before we do any of that, I need to remind you guys that today is a FanDuel Friday on The Drive. It is presented by our friends at FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and also right here on 96.5 The Fan. All right. There's two things I want to get to before we take a trip to Detroit, Michigan. The first thing I would like to do is I have three groups of player props, Rob, for Sunday Night Football. I'm curious who you would take if I gave you two $20 free bets. For the first one, an anytime touchdown. You can get Xavier Worthy at plus 145. You can get Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce both at plus 140. I'm giving you a $20 free bet to put on one of these three players to score a touchdown. Who are you putting it on? You putting it on Xavier Worthy, Kareem Hunt, or Travis Kelce? They are all virtually the same odds.
Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt is the most likely to get heavy red zone touches. I know Chiefs Twitter is infatuated with the idea of trading for a running back, and I get why, but I think the Chiefs have kind of figured out what their running back rotation is. You're going to see the following over the course of the year, maybe phasing a little out of Pacheco and Hunt for more Smith. But Smith's the explosive, pass-catching McKinnon type. I think he can also run the ball effectively. Pacheco is your first, second down back, and Kareem Hunt is your Mike Allstott, go get us short yardage back. If the Chiefs are on the goal line this week, I know number 29's in the backfield. I just do. They're not going to go to Pacheco or Rashard Smith in a goal-to-go situation. So I'm getting plus money, and I get a guy I know is going to be on the field when they're on the goal line. Give me Kareem Hunt in that situation.
Yeah, I feel like Kareem Hunt is the best option for all of the reasons that you gave. I mean, there's a chance that Worthy doesn't get a target in the red zone. There's a chance that Kelce doesn't get a target. You know you're going to get a minimum of 2 touches for Kareem Hunt. If it's first and goal from the 4-yard line, they're handing the ball off in that series and trying to get Kareem Hunt a touch and letting him be a battering ram to try to get you a touchdown. So I'm with you. If I had to pick between one of the other two, I'm going to pick Xavier Worthy in this just because there's multiple options. You could give it to him on a pop pass. It can be an end around. I'm going to give it to Xavier Worthy. I'm also getting a little bit more juice. Not much juice, but I'm also getting a little bit more juice than Travis Kelce. But I'm with you on Kareem Hunt with it when it comes to red zone touches. All right, I'm going to give you a new $20 here. This is your last $20 free bet. You can get Hollywood Brown at plus 270, Juju Smith-Schuster for plus 290, Tyquan Thornton for plus 300. So all around the same. When you're talking about the odds, you got a free $20. Who are you putting it on? Hollywood Brown, Juju, or Tyquan Thornton to score a touchdown?
I think I'm going to put it on Juju because I feel like he is – I don't want to call him a tight end because that's disrespectful, but I think they use him the same way they use Travis Kelce. He's a chain-moving type of guy. So if you're facing, third and goal from the 4-yard line, I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be on the field. I actually think the pass that Mahomes threw the pick 6 in the Jags game, I think he's targeting Juju Smith-Schuster in the red zone on that play. So I know Tyquan Thornton's been great and he's been scoring a lot, but I think defense are going to start realizing we just can't ignore number 80 when he's on the field. And I don't know that Hollywood Brown is going to get a high volume of touches and targets. So I think I'm going to take Juju Smith-Schuster in that world, but it's in between Smith-Schuster and Tyquan to me. I don't think Hollywood Brown is one I would touch with a bet.
Yeah, I don't think I would touch Hollywood either. I'm a little worried that you and I feel so close when it comes to these things. Juju, to me, seems like more of the kind of big body red zone option out of those. But Tyquan just feels like he's just hot right now. You know how sometimes you just got to get in while the getting is good, where Trey Tucker was a player early in the season. You missed kind of the Trey Tucker wave. I feel like that's what we're in the middle with Tyquan Thornton. I would just keep riding the wave until you potentially see it crash. I think Tyquan Thornton at plus 300 is just really, really solid odds if that's what you want to keep doing. I've hit on that a couple of times this season. I'm not going away from it. I'm going to take Tyquan Thornton for the plus 300. You and I agree. Kareem Hunt, plus 140 to score a touchdown. Now, Rob, I don't know if you had ever heard this before. But first off, congratulations to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift had the most successful album release in the history of music. She did 4 million in the first week. The record was Adele. I believe it was, 25, 35, whichever one had Hello. Hello, smash single. That was the most popular first week in music history until Taylor Swift came along. And now Taylor Swift, she did 4 million albums in the first week. Now, you know, my social media, I imagine your social media, has been in a little bit of a nostalgia, you know? Taylor Swift, her eras, she's been around for a while. I don't know why you didn't tell me about her Eminem era. I had never heard this before.
All right. If you had one shot, one opportunity to be the loudest crowd that we have seen all summer, would you take that shot or just let it slip? Yo, his palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd.
I don't want to upset the Swifties. I really don't.
Then why? Let's just admit it's the best rendition we've ever heard. Swifties, it's at Rob Britton. He loves it. He thinks it's great.
Trying to turn up the chorus real quick.
The mall that you own, and you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Okay, we're good. Stop. Is she just determined to ruin some of your favorite songs? Was that what a young Taylor Swift was on? Was it to ruin some of your favorite anthems? I mean, that's one of rap's most popular songs. Taylor Swift's around our age. She grew up. Who doesn't love the movie 8 Mile? Who doesn't love that song? Did she just make it her mission to do this to early 2000s hits? You know what I petition? I think that we should replace Carrie Underwood for this game. And I think that version of Lose Yourself, that should be the open to Sunday Night Football. Think about it. Kansas City, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Detroit, Eminem, 8 Mile. It's Travis's fiance singing Detroit's biggest song. Pop culture and sports, they collide. Eminem, also from St. Joseph, Missouri, an hour outside of town. You see the parallels? It's all around. We don't need to wait all day for Sunday night. You know what we need to wait for?
All right. If you summer, would you take that shot?
Are you going to take that shot?
Or just let it slip?
You going to let it slip?
His palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous.
Why is she doing B-Rabbit like this?
You want this for Sunday Night Football? Play it live.
Just asking. I'm serious.
6:30? Who needs to watch Jared Allen bang the drum when you can have Taylor Swift play this live? That would be better.
Just asking. You better lose yourself in the music, bro. You clearly haven't lost yourself in the music.
I presume when she played this was at a festival in Detroit, that there's no other reason why she would do it.
I don't know where she did it. I have no clue. I'm just telling you that B-Rabbit didn't ride on that bus to have people doing that to his records.
She has a lot of strengths. Rapping is not one of them. What do you always say? Life's about strengths and weaknesses?
Life's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Taylor, it might be the most successful artist of all time. It is not because she is a hip-hop mogul.
You know
what you can do and what you can't do.
You know what I'm telling you right now? I mean, that song really is a love story. It's a love story about the grind, you know? And how your one opportunity, it belongs to you. You know what I mean? I see the parallels. I really do. I see the parallels between the two. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to head to the Motor City to get you ready for Sunday Night Football. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those Saturday showdowns. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Every play can change the game, so don't settle for ordinary this season. Feeling good about your college football parlay? Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This fall, refresh your home with a special offer from Westlake Ace Hardware. Enjoy $10 off bin interior paint gallons, October 1st through 31st. With an easy-to-apply, easy-to-maintain formula, Thin Interior offers an introduction into the beauty and durability of Benjamin Moore premium paint. Hurry into Westlake Ace Hardware for this limited-time savings and keep your spaces looking beautiful for years to come. Offer valid in-store only, so visit Westlake Ace Hardware today. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Don't become another lab-grown diamond victim. There are many reasons you will never see a lab-grown diamond for sale at House of Diamonds. You can learn a few of them online at mybigrock.com. Maybe a wholesale price or two as well. That's mybigrock.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger, Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Maybe turn them into paper airplanes headed to see you never, AT&T and T-Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score report dated 1H2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person who made the deal. Additional terms apply.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Listen to the Chiefs and Lions on Sunday night with pregame starting at 4, kickoff at 7:20 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by John Jansen. He is with 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, getting you ready for Sunday Night Football. John, really happy to have you join us today, man. Really appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. It's a hell of a season, or at least the start of the season so far, and a lot of unexpected wins and losses. I know you guys are not happy with where the Chiefs are right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you guys are dealing with the exact same thing that Kansas City is also dealing with, just the feeling of how wide open it is. You know, every time you think you got a good understanding on a team, something changes. You know, the Buccaneers, I think they're a good team. They're not going to have Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. You think Philadelphia is good. They've lost their last 2 games. The Patriots go on the road and beat the Buffalo Bills. I have no clue who's good right now in the league.
No, and that's that's kind of what makes it fun right now. Is at this time of the year, because everybody's got their preseason predictions and everybody thinks they know what's going to happen this year. And then it's the same thing all the time, whether week 1 is a liar or not. And it feels like maybe week 1 was a liar for the Lions, but you get to 5 or 6 weeks and now all of a sudden you're trying to figure out what did we really know to start the season. And it comes out that most of us knew absolutely nothing.
So let's just start with this, John. And again, happy to have you on the show today. I feel like a big talking point around the league in the beginning of the season is what were the Lions going to look like without Ben Johnson and without Aaron Glenn, and the uncertainty around the coordinators. It doesn't feel like anything has changed in Detroit watching them the first month and a half of the season.
No, it doesn't. And, I mean, even when Ben left and went to Chicago, he talked about how much talent was on this offense. And he said, hey, that's a high-test sports car right there, and it's still going to be good. I really think the biggest question mark that is being answered as the season continues to go is replacing both guards. Christian Mahogany at left guard he's a 6th-round pick that was injured most of last year. He started 2 games. And then this year, when you have Tate Ratledge, the 2nd-round pick, replacing a former Pro Bowler, and then you have Frank Ragnow, who was your all-pro center, retire after the draft, after free agency. Those 3 inside have played, other than that first game against the Packers, those 3 have played extremely well. And there's a lot of people that are talking about this offensive line being back in certainly the top 10. And there's some people that think this might be even a top 5 offensive line, having lost all 3 guys from last year.
John, I'm curious to get your answer to this because we are certainly living in a golden era of Detroit Lions football. One of the things that we talk about in Kansas City is when's the moment when you realize that Patrick Mahomes was special? And people kind of have different answers. Like my answer was it was his first home game. He threw a touchdown pass against the Niners. And I remember thinking that looks like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And I just felt like the Chiefs just had a very special quarterback. You've been around for a lot of Lions football, good and bad. When did you realize that Dan Campbell was the one to turn this thing around?
Well, it was the fact that Sheila Ham Ford, was going to be patient when they started out, 1-6-1. And it's just when you have a start like that and you have a history that the Lions have had, Dan and I were in the same draft. He was with the Giants. I was with the Washington football team. And I've known Dan for a long time. Hank Fraley, the O-line coach, Mark Brunell, the quarterback coach. These are all guys that I played with. And so I knew if given the amount of time that they would need to turn over everything, the entire franchise in Detroit, they'd eventually get it. But when Sheila came out and said, hey, at 1-6-1, most of the time when you get that, that vote of confidence, it usually means you got about 2 weeks left and then you're going to be fired. She was patient, and then it was, the ability to continue to build and add through the draft. So it's really the unique combination of Brad Holmes as GM, him identifying talent, and then it's Dan Campbell coming out and being able to put together a coaching staff that develops that talent, but they don't always throw you right in there and expect you to be a stud right away. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he didn't score his first touchdown until week 15 of his rookie year, and now look at him. J-Mo was hurt, but even in his second year, they used him sporadically. Like, they just do this with all of their draft picks. They are patient with them. They allow them to develop, and that's part of why they have depth, and it's why those guys – that's what makes Brad Holmes look so good. He's drafted good talent, but they do a good job of developing it.
John, you used the word depth. You guys are certainly going to have to challenge that this week. Take us through the injury report right now, because it seems like that secondary is very banged up, which is a really bad space to be going up against Patrick Mahomes.
It is, and I tell you what, if you guys know any of those names in the secondary that are actually going to be playing, hey, more power to you, because nobody does. It's kind of the same thing with that happened to the defensive line last year. So I don't know if Kirby Joseph is going to be able to go or not. I know he's a game-time decision. Same thing with Brian Branch. I would expect both. Those are tough guys. I would expect that they would be able to go and play. It's the corner position where now you're looking at it going, okay, who are these guys? How long have they even been here? Which will limit what Kelvin Shepard could do defensively. So it's really going to come down to, hey, you're going to have to apply a lot of pressure. You want to try and do that with Patrick Mahomes to begin with, and I know they've had some offensive line issues for a number of years in Kansas City, but he's a guy that can overcome all of that and eventually find that open receiver, because protection just breaks down. And when you've got guys that, hey, one guy's been here 1 week, another guy's been here 2 weeks, another guy you're bringing off the practice squad, it's going to be a huge challenge for Kelvin Shepard.
Right now, we're talking to John Jansen with 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, taking a closer look at Sunday Night Football. I remember when the Matt Stafford and Jared Goff trade happened, and I felt like at least the tone was, well, the Lions got a first-round pick out of it, and they just got to buy a year and a half of Jared Goff, and they can move on and get their own quarterback. And Goff has certainly exceeded those expectations. Do you guys in Detroit feel like he's the one that could possibly get you over the hump? Because it would seem you guys have given him everything: a great offensive line, great running backs, wide receivers, a very talented defense, when healthy. Only thing is missing is that quarterback to get you over the hump.
I 100% believe that he could be that quarterback. And you look at his numbers over the last couple of years, and yes, with more talent, the quarterback's going to look more productive and the numbers are going to be better. But the connection that he has with Amon-Ra St. Brown and how automatic that is, when you have all of these different weapons, you got to have a quarterback that is super smart. And that's the one thing. You could look at Jared Goff and say, well, yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks that got a stronger arm. There's other quarterbacks that are, there might be 31 other starting quarterbacks that are more mobile than Jared Goff. But he is super smart, and it's rare. And I know he had, 4 interceptions in the playoff game last year. How much of that was the hit to the head that he took? I don't know. But more times than not, he's a guy that understands the defense, understands, hey, the play that we're in, it's no good. Or there's only going to be one option, and I got to get that ball out right away. 3 games this year so far, games 2 through 4, absolutely no sacks and very little pressure. Offensive line did a good job, but he did a great job, a masterful job of putting them in a play that was going to be successful and that he knew he could get the ball out, and he's unselfish. If that ball's got to go in the dirt, it goes in the dirt. It's got to go out of bounds, it goes out of bounds. But he is super smart, and I 100% believe he is a quarterback that can win a Super Bowl in Detroit.
Right now, we're talking to John Jansen, who covers the Detroit Lions. I just finished watching the Cowboys documentary not too long ago, and just Jimmy Johnson, he was the perfect coach for the U. He was the perfect coach for those 90s Cowboys teams. I feel like the Lions hired the absolute perfect coach for the city, also for the team that I think really represents Detroit.
Yeah, and I mean, Dan was here. He was here when the Lions were bad, and I know he was hurt. He didn't play much in that 0-16 season, but he knows what these fans and how rabid these fans are. And so he's that perfect combination of meathead and football genius, and nobody really gives him credit for how smart he is. This is his offense. It wasn't Ben Johnson's offense. It certainly wasn't Anthony Lynn's offense. And it's John Morton has come in, but it has all been Dan Campbell, and he just fits this city to an absolute T.
John, taking a closer look at this game on the defensive side, one player that worries me on the Lions side is Aiden Hutchinson. I got all the respect in the world for his ability. I thought last year he had a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year. He then had the significant injury, missed some time. He is now back, and he looks to be the exact same player. He seems like one of those guys that could really disrupt an offensive game plan.
He can, and the thing about him is it's just his motor. He's not a guy that's ever going to take a play off, and he's not a guy that they even take off the field. So it is, if he's got to play 65 plays, he's probably out there for 63 of them, and he's going absolutely balls to the wall the entire time. And what makes it even better is, and I don't know if Aleem McNeil will be back this week, next week, that's going to make that defensive line better. Tyleik Williams has made that defensive line better, and it's the more guys that occupy bodies, now you can't commit as many resources to Aiden Hutchinson. Al-Quadin Muhammad has 3.5 sacks on the other side. And if you've got to account for him, now all of a sudden, instead of being able to put 3 guys on Hutch, maybe it's only 2. At times, when you're trying to get guys downfield, it might be only 1. And that's a lose-lose situation for whoever that tackle is.
Right now, we're learning a little bit more about the Detroit Lions with John Jansen of 97.1 The Ticket. Last couple of things here, John, and we appreciate your time. First thing is, are you surprised that Detroit is the underdog in this matchup? I only ask because Philadelphia was favored in their matchup against Kansas City. Baltimore was favored in their matchup against Kansas City. When the line originally came out, I thought the Lions were going to be a 2-point favorite in this one. It was actually the flip side. Kansas City was the 1.5, 2-point favorite. Are you surprised that the Lions are underdogs in this one?
I'm not surprised. And some of it has to do with the injuries. And you know, if Taylor Decker can't go, Giovanni Manu, who they're trying to develop, he wasn't ready against Cincinnati. And he played okay, but Trey Hendrickson, that was a tough matchup for him. I think that plays a factor, and he's even dinged up. I know he sat out a day of practice this week. So there are some issues, and we already talked about the secondary and the corners, and I'm not surprised at all, but I tell you what, and they don't have any control over it, but I know that team in Detroit prefers to be the underdog. They like the perception of being disrespected, and they're going to go out and they're going to fight. And here's just a little fun fact for you. We talk about Jared Goff and whether or not he's a top 5 quarterback or a top 10 or can he win a Super Bowl. He's never lost to Patrick Mahomes.
Last thing here, John, give me your Chiefs win if scenario. Give me your Lions win if scenario.
Well, the Chiefs win if they just pick apart that secondary and the Lions can't get home. If they find a way to, keep Mahomes clean and keep him away from Hutch and there's just that secondary. Eventually, Patrick Mahomes is so good. And he's smart too. He's going to find a way to pick apart that secondary. And that's going to be why I think they win. If it's a Lions win, it's going to be because they were able to win the time of possession, win the ground game, which is not going to be easy against that Kansas City defensive line. And they're able to control the tempo of the game. That's going to be the key for this Lions team and coming away with a win.
That is John Jansen joining us on the show. He is with 97.1 The Ticket in the Motor City. John, really appreciate your time. Looking forward to a great one on Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, and I hope everybody enjoys the game Sunday.
Absolutely. That is John Jansen joining us on the show today. Covers the Lions. Really excited to catch up with him and get his thoughts on this matchup. I need you guys' help with something, and hopefully you guys can help me out. 913-586-7965. I am going to my first Chiefs game in a very long time. The last Chiefs game that I went to, it was Chiefs and Texans in the playoff. You guys remember the Chiefs got down 24-0 very early on in that game. McCole Hardman has the big return, Chiefs score, fake punt. That was the last Chiefs game that I've been to. Every other time that I've had an opportunity to go to Arrowhead, I usually give my tickets either to Rob or I give them to Sam Stevie over on the news talk stations. But this was the one time that I was offered tickets, and you know what I was thinking? Man, I kind of want to go. I took a look at the slate this weekend in the National Football League. It's not very impressive, and I'm just deciding to make it a football weekend. Going to Mizzou, Alabama on Saturday, going to Sunday Night Football. So I'm hoping just to have a great time. This is my question. What time do I need to be out there? Because I do want to get the full experience. I don't know the next time that I'm going out there. I don't plan on making this a regular appearance. I like watching the games at home. I like having my own space. I got the Wi-Fi. I don't got to worry about anything. I get the meal that I want. I enjoy watching football games at home, but this feels like a very important game. Sunday Night Football, I think it's arguably the best game of the weekend in the National Football League. It's a standalone game, so I don't really feel like I'm missing anything. I feel like I can potentially watch a little Red Zone and then go out there. My plan is to get there at 4. That's my plan. My plan is to get there at 4:30. I don't really feel like I need to be out there much earlier than that. But I don't know the vibes. I don't know the situation. I have actually only tailgated 2 times in my life. Some of you tailgate every single week. I've only been to 2 tailgates in my entire life. It just feels like it's a lot of standing around. I've never done it before. So that's why I'm asking. I want to get the full experience in going out to Arrowhead this weekend. I'm not going on a press pass. I'm going out there just like you guys. Got some tickets, got a parking pass. I'm going to go out there early, walk around, get the sights and sounds and smells of Arrowhead Stadium. I just need to know the do's and don'ts. I need to know the how-tos. I haven't done this in a long time. The last time I went to Arrowhead, I went out there for Beyonce. That was the last time I was out there. So I don't know the vibes. What time do I need to be there? Rob, what are you thinking?
So I'm not going to pretend to be an Arrowhead tailgating aficionado or an expert. I do not tailgate at Arrowhead all that often, but I have a friend, and they do a big setup. So to best answer your question, I need a little more information. Because if you're just going to walk around the parking lot, that energy is different than you're going to a tailgate that has a big setup, some food, some drink, because timelines change. So do you have a tailgate plan? Or
I do have a tailgate plan.
Okay.
I actually have multiple tailgate plans. I've already got that set up. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going out there without I know exactly where I'm going to eat. I know exactly where I'm going to drink. Like, I'm not, you think I'm just going out there and I got to be willy-nilly and I got to hope that somebody recognizes me and then I got to fake like, oh, hey, can I eat with, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going out there with a plan. But I do want to catch the vibes. I want to listen to the music. I want to have a little drink. I want to have me a little pulled pork sandwich before I go in and watch a little Sunday Night Football. But somebody is saying you got to get there early in the morning. I don't want to go. If you're telling me I got to be out there early in the morning, hey, you can have my tickets. I don't want to go out there that early. This is what I would like to do. This is what I want to do. I want to watch Red Zone at the house, a little witching hour. And then when the witching hour is over, my friend who's going to be watching it with me, hey, it's just time to go. We then go out to the stadium. I live downtown, hoping I get to let's say it takes me 30, 45 minutes to get in there. I'm in the parking lot by 4:15, 4:30. That gives me, 2 hours. I feel like that's enough time for me to be moving and shaking out there. Why do I need to be out there more than that?
Here's what I would tell you to do. I would tell you to get in the car and get moving and grooving. Because I know where you live. You're downtown. I would say leave downtown in between 3 and 3:30 and aim to get to Arrowhead around 4:15. Because you can walk around, catch a vibe, get some drink, have a good time. But because tailgating at Arrowhead's such a big deal, the people that get there early, these 4 a.m. monsters on the text line, what they end up doing is they usually end up gobbling 2 or 3 spots with their tailgate because they get there when the gates open. So parking and the traffic becomes problematic quick. So I would say leave your house at 2:30 or 3, be to Arrowhead at 3:30 or 4, and then you have 2 hours to walk around and catch a vibe. I'm not a noon person. I'm not a be at the gates early person, but I think if you're in line trying to get at Arrowhead at 4:30, you ain't really tailgating so much.
Okay, so this is, I have heard about this. A lot of people have told me about Lot J. Now, obviously, I've not been to one of these Lot J tailgates, but the way that these tailgates are described, that sounds like the place to be. The way that people talk about these Lot J tailgates, they seem to have the setup. Now, I'll tell you guys, I got the hookup over at the Tickets for Less tailgate. Now, I don't know what kind of setup you got, but I'm assuming their setup's very professional. They got TVs in there. It's all you can eat, all you can drink. It seems like a little corporate bigwig situation. You go in there, you network a little bit. Everybody's in a good situation. I can sit down, I can chill, but I don't want it to be too professional. You know what I mean? I want to go out with the people. I want to play a little cornhole. I want to throw the football around. So I don't got to just stay there, but I at least know worst case scenario, Rob, I got a home base. I'm not, if I got to do too much to go get no. I got a place. I got a place that's certainly got the burn-ins. I got a place that's got the drinks. I don't need to. That's why I like having at least a guaranteed. But I have heard about this Lot J ticket setup, and the way that people talk about the Lot J, that sounds like where I need to be.
So I would tell you this, because I have a very cursory understanding of the Arrowhead situation. Based on
all the times that I've given you tickets, what do you be out there doing?
I got friends who tailgate. I don't know the corporate tailgate situation.
I didn't know the situation.
I don't know the corporate.
Because now I'm starting to regret these decisions that I've made in my life where I'm like, hey, here you go. Why don't you go to the game?
I don't have
You know how many great games I've missed in my life because I wanted you to go to the game?
Hold on.
You're my man.
Hold on. You weren't going to these games because it was under 65 degrees out. Most times I get these tickets like, yo, it's cold. I ain't going. That text comes through more often than not. Hey, Sam, it's cold. Here are the tickets.
A couple of the times I was willing to brave the cold. A couple of the times. But you know what? You my mans. So I was like, you know what? Let me bless you with these. Go to the game. But now I feel like you're not even getting the situation. You're not even doing all the things out there.
I have a friend who has a great tailgate setup. They have TVs. They have the whole nine. I have a great setup. I've never been to these corporate, you're in, the front row. They have like a nice, bathroom situation. I've never been in those. I would say
That's what I'm guessing the Tickets for Less tailgate
That's
got.
what I'm guessing.
I'm assuming they got that one. That's the one I need to be at.
You need to go amongst the people and figure out the vibes. And then, as you get closer to kickoff, maybe go to your little corporate retreat, your little, commercialized outfit in the front. But experience with the people first.
Yeah, I'm just not trying to go to nobody's tailgate and all you got is Bud Light and hot dogs, dog. Like this, come on now. What are we doing? I had a better spread at home if I had just watched Sunday Night Football at the crib by myself. I want to go over there where you got to eat. You got the ribs? What are you drinking, Tito's? That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what else people got going on over there, but that's all I need to know. Somebody said, come to our tailgate. We got food trucks. Like, you got to pay for the food over there? I don't need to be over there. That's not where I need to be. No, not at all.
What do they mean by they have food trucks? Do they own a food truck?
I don't know.
And they're setting one up?
Someone said Lot M, there's a tailgate area. They have a band, and they also had food trucks over there. Wait, I got to pay for the food? I'm not going over there. Not when I got a setup. I'm not paying to go over there. Come on now.
Yeah, no.
Hold on. I got questions. They got tacos on this food truck? Because I love a good taco truck. I love it.
This is also the place the guy said they have a band. I would love to watch you watch a band play. That would be
okay.
That would be
DJ, sure. You got a band out there. I got to hear your. You know what I got? You know what I don't want? I don't want your version of this.
All right. If you had one shot,
that's the kind of band you got.
One opportunity to be the loudest crowd that we have
If Lot M had
summer.
Taylor Swift performing, you better be there.
Would you take that
Is
shot?
she singing those songs?
Just let it slip. Yo.
I'd be like, hey, Tay, you know what? Just come on down. Come on down. Why don't you just play the album version? The edited for the kids. We got kids around. Can we play the edited version? Can we play the radio version?
You're
That's all we need.
boo if she plays that.
Yes, play the radio version, please. Please, Tay. That's all we need. I was actually scrolling on TikTok, and I heard a portion of that Wood song. I shut off my phone. that just turned it off. You know what? I felt like at that point I reached the end of the algorithm on TikTok, and it was time for me to just do something very different with my life. I didn't ever want to hear that song, and I was forced to hear it. That's what I was. I was forced to hear it. All right, coming up on the other side, let's get back to Missouri. They got a very important game this weekend against Alabama. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That's our philosophy at GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. Fat ones, skinny ones, curvy ones, fast ones, slow ones, round ones, and square ones. Yes, square body Chevys. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now, put yours in, and get a quote. We'd love to buy it. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
If you're a man waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. This is Jeff Montgomery. Do what I did. Contact Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. Go to miva-medical.com.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise in Olathe. That's a crash. 35 northbound past Santa Fe. 2 left lanes are blocked. Up north, crash cleanup. 435 northbound past 210 Highway. 2 left lanes are blocked. I'm Val, KFNZ Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right. We're going to get back to serious things. I promise you we are. This is what I wanted to get to. So I learned that Taylor Swift did a cover of Lose Yourself, you know, Chiefs, Lions, Kansas City, Detroit. You know, I thought it was relevant. Rob, there's a website. I did not know it exists. It is called Swiftopedia. It is taylorswift.fandom.com. She has her own fan website. And they have a list of all the covers with the links that she has ever done. Do you want to hear more Taylor Swift covers as the show continues? Because we've heard a couple of them. You and I have heard September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've heard her version of Umbrella by Rihanna. We played her version of Lose Yourself. I mean, do you want to hear her version of Irreplaceable by Beyonce? Do you want to hear her version of Living on a Prayer? I mean, we got a lot of these. If you want to hear more Taylor Swift covers, I'm here to play them for you. If you want to hear them as the show progresses, I'm in a good mood. The weather is good. We got Mizzou, Alabama. We got Chiefs and Lions. I'm in a great, fantastic mood today. So I want to play what you want to hear, Rob. I'm here to make you happy. I'm here to play the hits. If you want more Taylor Swift covers today on the show, I got them for you.
I don't. I really don't want more Taylor Swift covers.
Okay.
I've heard Umbrella, I've heard September, and I've heard Lose Yourself. I prefer her regular music. Please and thank you.
Okay.
We can play Wood. I know you like that song. We just play Wood.
Let's move on. See, let's move on. I tried to make this a serious topic, and of course you had to go joke about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. I want to play for you guys what Brandon Walker had to say. Brandon Walker is with Barstool, and Brandon Walker, he told a lie on his podcast.
Missouri, this is a once in a generation type of opportunity. This is, we finally got our coach. We finally got everything. He's laid the foundation, and everything in the Drink era has led to this moment right here. They are undefeated. This is the biggest game. If you're an Alabama fan, this isn't the biggest game of the month. If you're a Missouri fan, this is the biggest game of your life.
Okay. What he said about Eli Drinkwitz specifically is very true. This is the most important game of the Eli Drinkwitz era. There's no question about that being the case. It is absolutely the most important game. This is a gotta have it. Missouri, all of the recruiting, all of the transfer portal, all of the NIL, how competitive I think they've been on a national scale and really elevating their program and elevating their brand to be competitive in the SEC has led them to this moment. No question. This is not one of the 10 biggest Missouri football games that I've ever seen. It's not one of the 10. It's
10
not
seems
one
high.
of the 10 that I've seen. It's not top 10. Their game against Kansas in 2007 was bigger than this game. Their game in 2008 at home against Oklahoma State was bigger than this game. Come on now. Like I'm excited about the game too. I'm fired up about the game too. It's not even the biggest game they've had since they've been in the SEC. This isn't the biggest game that they've had. In 2013, they had a home game against Texas A&M. They needed to win that game to go to the SEC championship. It was a home night game against Johnny Manziel. For my Missouri fans, you know what game I'm talking about. It's the Henry Josie game. It's my favorite play as a Missouri fan. It's Josie's dive into the end zone. I was in that end zone. We were going crazy. That was a bigger game than this one. The next year, they had a home game against Arkansas. They needed that to go to the SEC championship game. 2 times in our lifetime, Missouri has needed 1 game to win to go to the national championship. What are we doing here? After they beat Kansas in 2007, they had the Big 12 championship in San Antonio against Oklahoma. If they win, they go to the national championship. This game's bigger than that. Come on now. Come on now. The only way this can be the biggest Missouri game you've seen is if you're 11. That's the only way. If you're 11, yeah, sure. This is the biggest game you've ever seen. I'm happy for you. I'm pulling for you. But Missouri has these kinds of games somewhat regularly as a program, or at least they have for the last 20 years. They've had these games before. This is the Oklahoma game in 2010. You remember, game day was there. Blaine Gabbert, the students rushed the field. They've had this game before. Now, they haven't won this game a whole lot. They did win that Oklahoma game. That's what makes it so special. They did win the KU game back in 2007. But Missouri's had this game before. Big regular season game. A big, hey, are you ready to take that next step as a program? Are you ready to take that next step? I don't know who tier 1 is in the SEC right now. I don't know who it is. I think Georgia's in tier 1, but I saw Georgia get dominated at home. I think Alabama's in that category. I saw them get beat by Florida State. Texas looks terrible so far this year. Tennessee's good, but is Tennessee really that much better than Missouri? I think now with the transfer portal and NIL, at least this season in the SEC, the lines feel very blurred. I don't know if there's a big gap anymore between 1 through 7 right now in the SEC. There's not a huge gap. There used to be a pretty big gap. Rob, you and I come from the era where when Florida was good, they were much better than everybody else in the SEC. When Alabama was good, when Auburn's been good, when it was that team in the SEC, they were head and shoulders above everybody else. That's not where we are right now in the SEC. Maybe in the Big Ten with Ohio State, with Oregon. That's not how it is in the SEC. So to me, this is one of those games. I want to know where Missouri is. Are they a tier 2 SEC team? And that's a good year. Missouri goes 9-3. They go to a decent bowl game, but that's not a playoff team. Or are they a team that can unlock the next stage of the college football season? And the next stage of the college football season is it's go time. It's time to see if you can make the college football playoff. That's what we have boiled this season down to. The same way that we judged success back in the old days about did your team make a BCS bowl game? That's what the playoff is now. There are 11 spots that are available. Can you grab one of those 11 spots? You don't need to win the SEC anymore. You don't need to be number 1 or number 2 in the BCS standings anymore. Can you be one of the 4 best teams in the SEC? I don't know if you can be one of the 4 best teams in the SEC if you lose this game at home in Alabama.
I agree. I don't think they can be a top 14 in the SEC if they lose to Bama. I also don't think they can be a playoff team if they lose to Bama because this is going to sound like hate, and I don't mean it that way. I don't know Mizzou is, after the Bama game, running through their schedule. Like, they have Vanderbilt, who's really good. They have A&M, who's really good. Like, I'm not saying they have 4 or 5 losses on their schedule, but I don't think they are undefeated. So I think if you lose the Bama game, you go 10-2, 9-3, and you're probably on the outside looking in. Where if you beat Bama and go 10-2, I think that changes things. But to Brandon Walker's point, and I'm not trying to agree with Brandon Walker, this is Eli Drinkwitz's biggest game at Mizzou.
100%.
No
I
doubt.
agree with that, for sure. I'm only disputing that it's the biggest game in your life. It's not one of the 10 biggest Missouri games I've seen. If you want to argue it's the biggest game they've had in a decade, sure. I see people on the text line. This is the biggest game Missouri has had since the Texas A&M game back in 2013. I guess you could say the SEC championship game, the first one, the game against Auburn. The game against the first one, because the second one against Alabama, we all knew they were getting smoked in that game. They were not close. That game was not competitive. So if you want to say it's the biggest game since then, sure. It's not the biggest game of my life when it comes to Missouri. To your point about the schedule with Mizzou, I mean, they have these 5 games. They have home against Alabama, on the road against Auburn, on the road against Vanderbilt. I love Mizzou. They ain't winning both on the road at Auburn and at Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. They're not winning both of those games. They're losing one of those 2 games. I don't know which one they're losing, but they are losing one of those 2 games. You then got A&M at home, Mississippi State, and I think Mississippi State is actually kind of competitive this season. A&M, and you got OU. You got OU, which we think by that point, their quarterback is going to be back. I mean, he might play this week. He might play this week. So he might be back for that game. Me and you both thought he could miss 2-3 weeks. He might just miss 1 week and be back on the team. So you got to go 3-2 in those games, and you can't get embarrassed in the other ones. Last year, Missouri, I thought was pretty good, But in the games that really mattered, you got your doors blown off in those games. You got smoked by Alabama. You got smoked by A&M. You're out. You're eliminated. You have no chance of making it to the college football playoff if that's the case. You are back in the exact same spot. I think Missouri is better at just about everything than they were last year. I know they don't maybe have the names that they had last year in the wide receiver room. I think they are a more complete team this year than they were last year. I think they're better at quarterback. They're more explosive at running back. I think their wide receiver room is more complete and developed than it was last year. I think their defense is better. I think their offensive line is Missouri has everything you need to make a playoff run. But that's just on paper. That is just conversation. You got to prove it on the field. It goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. I don't care about rankings. I don't care about where Missouri's ranked or Alabama. Win your games. That's all you got to focus on in college football. Win your games and the rest will take care of itself. Because you're not fighting for 3 spots anymore like you were. I get it. Back then, perception really mattered. When you got 11 spots, just win your games. Take care of the home games. Take care of Alabama at home, take care of A&M at home, and you got to steal probably 2 or 3 of these on the road. If you can go on the road and beat Auburn and Oklahoma, you will find yourself in the college football playoff. And ultimately, that is all that matters in college football. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we are expected to be joined by Nate Taylor of ESPN. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch 2-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
Shopping for a new Ford? Go where it's easy. Rob Sight Ford. Non-commissioned staff, huge trade-in values, and Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. Rob Sight Ford. ROBSIGHT.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Week 6 Pro Football Sunday, Pittsburgh hosts Cleveland. Pittsburgh, a 5.5-point home favorite, total in the game, 38.5. And this is a brutal schedule spot for Cleveland. 3 straight road games, including an international game last week in London, and Pittsburgh coming off the bye. And I think Pittsburgh's quarterback is going to have success in the quick passing game against Cleveland's ferocious defensive front. Pittsburgh also getting healthier on defense up against Cleveland's rookie quarterback. I think Pittsburgh wins this game by 10. So on Sunday, I like laying Pittsburgh 5.5 against Cleveland. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Looking for the ultimate spot to watch Sunday football? It's all happening at Brew Brothers inside Harris Casino, Kansas City. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you'll catch every game, every Sunday. So no matter who you root for, your team is always on. Add in ice-cold drinks, mouth-watering food, and a crowd that loves football just like you. And you've got the perfect game day atmosphere. Every snap, every score, every Sunday. Brew Brothers is football headquarters. Be there this weekend at Harris's Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Milwaukee and Champion and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft
since 1915. Shop in store or at Hellsberg.com.
Hey, football fans, tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by the Home Depot. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise in Olathe. That's a crash. 35 northbound past Santa Fe. 2 left lanes are blocked. Up north, crash cleanup. 435 northbound past 210 Highway. 2 left lanes are blocked. I'm Val, KFNZ Traffic.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, Binkley's going to join us in studio. Nate's a little bit under the weather, so you know what? We're going to tag in our guy, Jay Binkley. Certainly a lot of Chiefs to get into, also a lot of MU and Alabama to get into, so Binkley will join us here coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this or not. So one of the traditions that we have in my friend group is every year we have a big Christmas party. My friend, they host it at their home every year. It's something that we look forward to. I'm not really one to wear pajamas, but you got to be in theme for this. The reason I'm telling you guys this is going to these parties helped me develop one of my takes that I have on the show. You guys have heard me talk about the Wikipedia test, how when you go to a player's Wikipedia page, go over to the right and look at awards and accomplishments and what did they do. And if you have a lot of awards and accolades, usually that means you are a Hall of Famer. If you don't, then I don't know. We got some questions about you. The other thing that I've come up with is the YouTube test. So we have like a thing in our friend group where we all get to go around and we get to watch one person's YouTube highlight. It's like the fellas, the ladies are off doing things and it's just God time. It's the fellas. So everybody gets to pick one athlete and we watch their YouTube highlights. It's just become like a yearly tradition that we do. This helped me come up with the YouTube test. The ultimate YouTube test of all the players that we have ever watched is Barry Sanders. I still have never seen anybody like Barry before him. And in the, 30 years since Barry Sanders played in the NFL, there's still not been a player like him. There are very few players that we have ever seen that you can call truly unique. You cannot find me a player who played like Steph Curry before Steph Curry existed. You've seen everybody that shot a basketball before. There was not somebody pulling up from 40 feet and turning around and waving at the crowd while the ball was still in the air before Steph. A lot of people have tried to copy it since then, but he is just a completely different beast. Barry Sanders is the most unique athlete that we have ever seen. I've never seen anything like it before. It didn't look like he was playing in the NFL. It looked like he was a varsity player who went down and was playing against the JV. he was maybe the best college running back that we had ever seen. Like, if you go back to his senior year, the year he won the Heisman Trophy, we've never seen anything like that. And then in the National Football League, on a team that wasn't very talented, where teams are loading the box to stop you, they still couldn't stop him. We've never seen anything like it. There is not a player in the NFL history that reminds you of Barry Sanders. There isn't. He is the most unique player that we have ever seen. He is the invention of the YouTube test. You can show Barry Sanders highlights today. You can show him 50 years from now, 100 years from now. It will always stand up. It will always hold. And I think one of the crazy things about the Detroit Lions is 10 years later, they got another player who also passes the YouTube test. There will never be a time in which Calvin Johnson is not impressive. Never. You know how there's some guys that you look at their stats, like Terry Bradshaw, for example, is kind of one of those players. Like, you look at his stats, and you're like, was he really that good? There will never be a time in which you have to ask that question about Calvin Johnson. I don't care what era of football we're in. I'm telling you, that guy was a beast. He was dominant. The Lions have had two of the most unique players, Rob, that we have ever seen. It's also crazier, like, of all the crazy, like, anecdotes, Calvin Johnson went to a school that ran the triple option. How did they convince him to go there?
I think he was there before it was triple option.
Well, he should have hit the portal. They didn't even have the portal back then, but he should have hit the portal.
You know what's crazy about both those players? And this is why the YouTube test is so fun. And I didn't know you did that around the holidays. Actually, it's a very, very fun idea because sometimes the YouTube test, like, works backwards and forwards. Like, it's great because players who were great, we remember their greatness, but sometimes there are great NFL players whose highlight tape is better than their output. Because you know who else is great on the YouTube test? Now, it's college football. No one's better than Tavon Austin on the YouTube test. No one.
I can find a lot of people who are better than him on the test. I get what you're saying, though. But Tavon was a dog, though. Don't get me wrong.
Tavon has a special YouTube tape, and people wax poetically about him because of his YouTube tape.
You always laugh about me on somebody who had the YouTube test. You know who passes the YouTube test? Peter Warwick.
100% Peter Warwick.
Peter Warwick.
I think I going to say Cam Newton. Cam Newton also passes.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Cam Newton at Auburn is the best. Hold on, I want to read this text really quickly. Someone on the text line says, Barry Sanders unique, yes, but the best is Adrian Peterson. You wasn't around for Barry Sanders then. I'm telling you, you weren't around for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders in 1997 ran for 2,000 yards. Rob, he averaged 6 yards a carry on the Lions. He ran for 2,000 yards, had double-digit touchdowns, and ran for 6.1 yards per carry. Nah, man, he was different. I'm telling you, that man was different. He led the NFL in rushing yards 4 times in his career, and every one of those times he averaged over 5 yards an attempt. Think about when it comes to running backs, how much we blame everything else. Like, oh, well, they were stacking the box. Oh, well, the offensive line wasn't good enough. It didn't matter. Put Barry Sanders on any team. He does this. I saw him do it at Oklahoma State. I saw him do it with Detroit. I'm telling you, that man was different. And Adrian Peterson was a dog. I'm not here trying to knock Adrian Peterson at all. He wasn't Barry, though.
I looked this up because I think it might be one of my favorite stats of all time. And by the way, this is not an insult to Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson in college was great, too.
A dog, yeah, for sure.
Have you seen Barry Sanders' 1988 game log at Oklahoma State?
Yeah, it's insane.
His worst rushing day of the season was 25 for 154 against Missouri. That was his low water mark. He had 300 yards against Tulsa, easy money. He had K-State fans. He had 320 against you. He had 312 against Kansas. Like, Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State, it was before I was born, but his game log alone is just, what? How did he do that? And then you watch the YouTube test, the highlight. I was, young enough to see him on, NFL on Fox have a Lions game. It was strictly for him. He looked like he had like turtle wax on his jersey and no one could tackle him. It was incredible.
Yeah, someone on the text line asked if the YouTube test only works if they were great in the pros. No, you can certainly have a great college tape, for sure. Like, absolutely have a great college tape. Like, someone says you're forgetting Johnny Manziel. Yeah, Johnny Manziel's year, it's going to pass the YouTube test. Absolutely. Like, Johnny didn't do anything in the NFL. Why we love Johnny is that first year at Texas A&M, a dog. Someone asked, who is the best YouTube Chiefs player? Dante Hall. That 18 months of Dante Hall, special. I mean, Mahomes is ultimately going to be the answer. But if you were to say you just got to watch a 10-minute clip of the best version of themselves, it's Dante Hall.
Ooh, if you're looking for 10 minutes, it's Jamal Charles. Dante Hall's 2-minute video might beat Charles, but if you're asking for 10 minutes, Charles is going to have some stuff on there.
Yeah, he's going to have some stuff on there. I would love to see what the Dante Hall. I wish someone could put this together. The thing is, the Jamal Charles highlights are going to be in much better definition than the other ones. They're going to be in a lot. They're going to be in a lot better. So it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
You don't want to watch fuzzy video of him shaking Al Wilson out of his shoes? Goodness gracious.
Someone on the text line, what about DeAnthony Thomas? He passed the YouTube test. Absolutely. DeAnthony.
At Oregon.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, there's a lot of guys who in college absolutely passed the YouTube test. Yeah, no. Especially in high school basketball. We could point to a lot of guys, Rob, that their high school basketball tape, like, what in the world? Like, what were you doing? Austin Rivers. If you're ever bored, just type in Austin Rivers high school basketball, and you would think that you were watching Isaiah Thomas. I'd never seen anything like it.
Sebastian Telfair was like, what?
Yeah, no.
What's happening?
Out of this world. No, absolutely out of this world. All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to get Binkley to join us in studio. He'll take the place of Nate Taylor for today. We're going to talk a little Sunday Night Football. We're also going to get you ready for a very important matchup in the SEC between Missouri and Alabama. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Olathe still working that crash, and it's 35 northbound just past Santa Fe. Left lane is blocked. Opposite side of town, North KC, you've got a crash, and it's 35 northbound at Parvin. Left lane blocked there. I'm Val, KFNZ Traffic.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with a $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Every Kansas City neighborhood has its own buyer preferences and price points. Dawn Sharp at the Sharp Homes team's deep understanding of various neighborhoods means they know exactly what buyers in your specific market are looking for and willing to pay. And then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Google them, Sharp Homes team, and start packing.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Don't become another lab-grown diamond victim. There are many reasons you will never see a lab-grown diamond for sale at House of Diamonds. You can learn a few of them online at mybigrock.com. Maybe a wholesale price or two as well. That's mybigrock.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Our summer sales event is here, and the deals are hotter than ever. Right now, drive home in a brand new 2025 Ford Escape or Bronco Sport starting at under $30,000. Or lease for just $399 a month with zero down. Need something bigger? Check out the spacious new Explorer, the larger Bronco where you can pop the top and doors off for those nice fall days, or the always tough F-150 STX Crew Cab 4-wheel drive. Just zero down and $499 a month. Lease payments are plus tax, title, and license. And folks, if you haven't checked out the versatile Ford Maverick, you're missing out. At Victory Ford, we have them in stock starting under $30,000. That's unbelievable value, a pickup that even fits right in your garage. Kansas City, if you haven't been behind the wheel of a new Ford lately, now's the time. The build quality is second to none, and we've got the selection ready for you today. So don't wait. Visit us at the Legends in KCK or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than our last.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
Hey, it's Creed Humphrey. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Usually at this time, we are joined by Nate Taylor of ESPN. He's a little bit under the weather. So coming off the bench right now is our guy, Jay Binkley. Certainly a lot of football to get into. Bink, let's talk about Sunday Night Football, and then we'll get to the Missouri and Alabama game. It feels like this is the same Chiefs game that they just had 2 weeks ago. They were 1-2. They had a home game against the Ravens. They needed to win that to get back to 500. It's almost the exact same scenario for Sunday Night Football. I'll give you the numbers here coming up in a little bit, but once again, there is a major difference in being 3-3 and 2-4 heading into the second portion of the season.
It's weird. It reminds me of 2021 a lot. When the Chiefs were 2-3, they had losses to the Bills in there. The Bills made them 2-3. They lost to the Chargers. They were sitting 2-3. They won their game to become 3-3. Didn't last long. Then they went to 3-4. Then they played the Giants the following week. Butker kicks field goal in the final minute. They beat the Giants. They could have been 3-5. The Chiefs team went on to go to the AFC title game. That's the one where they lost to the Bengals, and the Bengals went on to the Super Bowl. But kind of reminds me of that situation they were in there, and we didn't know what kind of team that the Kansas City Chiefs were being. So they were fighting hard to get to 3-3. Then they got it, and they went right back down to 3-4 and almost 3-5, but they didn't, and the rest is history. So, yeah, you just never know what you're going to get with this team. But, yeah, it does feel a lot like previous weeks with this team.
I'm putting a lot of the spotlight this week on Chris Jones for this reason. We all know what happened this week. We all know the conversation about him. And going up against this Lions team, if you don't win up front, you don't beat this team. This isn't the week, in my opinion, to try to send 7, 8 and go cover 0. If that's the case, there are just too many guys on the Lions that you potentially got to cover. And we're not even factoring in the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the best pass-catching backs in the National Football League. You need your front four to win matchups, and you need them to win those consistently. So you need the George Karlaftis that you just gave $70 million to this offseason. You need Chris Jones, who you think is one day going to be in Canton. So I'm putting a lot of responsibility on 9-5. You took a lot of arrows this week, but you know how it is. You can be down one week and you can be up the next. You just got to play well.
Yeah, and with this running game, you want to see guys get up. Like to see Noel Williams get more snaps. Obviously, in this game, this guy's a hard hitter. I know they like him, come in dime situations, whenever, but he's one of those defensive backs that'll get up into the mix because they got to contain this running game because Jared Goff doesn't move much in the pocket. You get there, you get contained with him, but they're going to have to set those edges so the running backs don't get outside because they are so fast. But, yeah, I'd like to see Noel get sprinkled in more defensive backs. Defensive backs tackling in this game is going to be big.
Yeah, I don't really understand the Noel Williams usage in all of this. Like, it's very, very perplexing to me. He played so well in the game against the Ravens, and then you're telling me in the next game you can only find room for him for 4 snaps. Meanwhile, Chamari Connor just essentially never comes off the field. Like, their usage in the Jacksonville game, very, very puzzling to me.
His snap counts are way up in their wins, and he hardly plays in their losses. So eventually you get to look at that and say, well, and I know it's who they're playing and everything else, but wins are wins. Wins of the Giants win. Wins of the Ravens win. But he got high snap counts in those games, and they won the game. And then the game, like the Chargers game, I don't even think he's played special teams like every time. He still got 21 snaps on special teams against the Jaguars, just none on defense. But his snap count's very limited when he plays against these teams they lose. So maybe they'll start to look at maybe a mixture there and think, when we have Noel Williams on the field, we play a lot more. Like, put it this way, against the Chargers, no defensive snaps. Against Philly, only 8. Then it went up to 19 against the Giants, 20 against the Ravens. They're 2 wins. And then it goes back down to 4 against the Jaguars. It doesn't make any sense.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. Jay, let's focus in on the offense here for just a little bit. I think you would agree in this. This is going to be a game in which the Chiefs are going to need to score. I don't think you're holding the Lions to 13 points. Like, this is the game you need to win 28-24, 31-27. I think the Lions are going to score. I think the Chiefs also should be able to move the ball going up against a pretty battered Lions secondary. Almost every portion of their offense has improved over the last month. Their offensive line is much better. I think their rush attack has been improved over the last couple of weeks. It feels like they're starting to really kind of settle into a role when it comes to the wide receivers, especially since they've gotten back Xavier Worthy. This offense is light years better to me than the one that went up against Philadelphia and also the one that played in the first half against the New York Giants.
It is. It's getting a lot better, and I'm glad Worthy is back practicing. He's going to play today. My worst fear is Rice is going to come back next week, and then they'd shelve Worthy for a couple weeks. Like, that was my biggest fear because you want to see those. You want to see Hollywood and Rice and Worthy all play together at the same time. But, yeah, this offense has been looking good, but Mahomes has had the time to throw. It's one thing the Lions do is they're second in the NFL in sacks. They have 16. The Broncos lead the way with 21. But they have a good pass rush with Muhammad on one side and Aiden Hutchinson there in the other, DJ Reader getting that push up the middle. They present problems. I know that secondary's banged up, but time is the essence for Mahomes to have time to throw the football because they'll move around Aiden Hutchinson. He'll play on the left. He'll play on the right. They'll move him around all over the place to find mismatches where he can take advantage of getting to the quarterback. And that part scares me because with the Ravens and the Jags, they have a combined 13 sacks. Chiefs have 13, and the Chiefs have pass rush problems. They don't get to their 2 of the 3 bottom teams in the NFL getting to the quarterback. They're facing a big boy pass rush with the Lions.
This is the Jawan Taylor that I wish you could just lock in and you could get each and every week. He hasn't been a problem. We haven't talked about him. He hasn't had a penalty. Now, at some point, you think those penalties could potentially come back. I mean, that's just been a theme of his time in Kansas City. But, I mean, they said this after, I think it was the Ravens game. Hey, he knows this is unacceptable. They got to change something. We got to do something better. I mean, the last 2 weeks, it just has not been an issue when it comes to Jawan Taylor. And I think that's been a major part, that along the side with Josh Simmons is playing a lot better and also Kingsley Suamataia. But the fact that they have eliminated some of the mistakes up front, I think has really allowed this offense to go to the next level.
And Jawan is just a different guy. He has played well on the road. That Jaguars game, he had the penalty, but it wasn't his fault. He wasn't covered on the offensive line, so it really wasn't his fault on there. But he usually plays so much better at home than the road because he tries to jump that snap count. But he can hear better at home at Arrowhead because the people are pretty quiet when the Chiefs are on offense. So he hears it better. He goes on the road, fans are noisy, and that gets into his head at that point. But, yeah, Jawan Taylor's been fantastic. as of late, and you love to see it. Kingsley's gotten so much better at the pass blocking. The run blocking was kind of his thing. He's such a physical, athletic guy. And so it's no wonder he's doing well in the NFL because he did have those attributes, big and physical. And Josh Simmons, he played maybe, he was just doing his job there against the Chargers, but now it's taking authority to the team. That punch is there, and he's putting guys on the ground. He put some guys on the Jags on the ground, and he's just kind of standing over them, but he was pancaking like crazy in that game. He's got a bit of a nasty streak about him on the football field, which is what you want to see because Trey Smith plays a violent game on the football field. A little bit different, off the field, but on the field, between the lines, I love that attitude, Josh Simmons. He's got a little Trey Smith in him.
What are you trying to take away with Detroit? Because I feel like they can beat you either way. Like if you need David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs to run for 75 yards apiece and both score a touchdown, they can do that. If you need Amon-Ra St. Brown to have 120 yards, Jameson Williams to have a good day, Sam Laporta to have a good day, I don't feel like you can really try to make the Lions one-dimensional because they're so good at both of the dimensions. What are you trying to take away with them? Who are you trying to take away from that offense?
Yeah, because Spags will zero in on something. And I think he's going to go after that running game. I think he'll go after that running game first. Hope he can get back to Jared Goff and cause some disruption. They're 12th in passing in the NFL. They're 7th as far as running the football. So they are better at running the football than with the pass. But you kind of shut down that running game, which is very tough to do with these guys. Very tough to do. But you do that, you set Jared Goff back in the pocket, and hopefully, Karlaftis, Jones and company, because they seem to be the guy who's doing it on the defensive line and blitzing from the secondary if they want to take those chances. But Goff will make you pay. That's one thing you have to be concerned about, blitzing the secondary, because he's good enough, he'll make you pay. But he is kind of a stone back in that pocket. But to me, it's the running game, because Spags does it. I mean, they haven't had 100-yard running on him for 2 years. Lamar Jackson went for 122 on him, but that was at the beginning of the year last year. And that was it, but no running backs got it.
One point we mentioned with the Lions is the Lions took a lot of swings at premier positions. They hit on just about all of them. They made a pretty significant trade to go get Jared Goff. The trade ended up working. They have one of the most explosive wide receivers in the National Football League. They drafted him. They developed him. They spent another first-round pick on one in Jameson Williams. It worked out. They spent a second-round pick on Sam Laporta. They spent a first-round pick on Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of the kind of impact positions or positions that you think really can change the course of a game, the Lions have spent a significant resource on those, and for the most part, they struck gold when it comes to those players.
Yeah, he did, and John Morton's doing a great job. I mean, taking over Ben Johnson was tough, and that was the big thing. Thinking about the Lions, how good are they going to be without Glenn on defense and without Ben Johnson? Two guys that took head coaching jobs. I mean, it's how you stay consistent in the NFL. You keep those coaches, in place. That's why the Chiefs have been so good for so long, because Spags still for defense. He's Spags, you do your thing, and that's what they've been able to do. But replacing both coordinators, offense and defense, and maintaining and still being good, I think that was kind of one of the surprises at the beginning of the year. I don't know how you thought about Detroit. You always know the talent was there, but you're like, man, is those coordinators going to make that big a difference? Is not, because we know how talented Ben Johnson is. Not having him there in Detroit's going to make the difference. But John Morton, man, just taking right over from where he was. They lead the NFL in scoring.
I feel like we're starting to say this more and more up front when it comes to the National Football League, but I don't know who's good. And that's not a bad thing, but I think as we're trying to figure out who the contenders are, who the pretenders are, what you can believe in, what you can't believe in, it feels like it changes so much. The Chargers got off to a 3-0 start. Now they're 3-2, and people are kind of soured on them. The Broncos seem like, I'm not sure how good they are. They then go on the road and beat Philadelphia. Now you look at their schedule. They got a little bit of a runway. The Chiefs have gotten off to a slow start. Philadelphia, we just mentioned. Like right now, it just doesn't really appear to be that team right now in the league. Again, I feel like we say this, but it really does feel wide open right now.
I think when you get around Halloween, you start getting separation. You get teams that are now 7-4, going on the 8-4. Because a lot of guys, that former players in the league will say that too. That wait till after Halloween. Wait till November and December and kind of get that feel of how good of a team you are. But if the Chiefs can just keep their head kind of above water, December opens up for them. Because December opens up for them very nice. Because at home, you got Houston. Obviously, Houston's better than what they started off as, right? But it's Houston at Arrowhead. Then the Chargers at Arrowhead. Then at Tennessee. They're miserable. So that's your road game there, Tennessee. Denver at home. And then Arrowhead West in Las Vegas. That's a very Chiefs schedule for December. It's a very comfortable schedule getting L.A. and Houston and Denver all at home. And then, of course, the road games are Vegas and Tennessee. That's a dream schedule for the Chiefs at the back end.
Yeah, I would say that the Chiefs, every kind of quarter of the season has like a very different theme. Like quarter one, the first month, September, is managing without Rashee Rice. Like that was the big theme of it. We don't have our big weapon. We also didn't have Xavier Worthy healthy. How do we generate explosive plays from that? Now it feels like the ramping up to getting Rashee Rice, you get him back in preparation for the Buffalo game. The November stretch is the hardest stretch that they have so far this season. They play 3 games on the road. They go on the road to play Buffalo, on the road to play Denver. They go on the road, Cowboys short week on Thursday Night Football.
You get suddenly go to Indianapolis at noon if that game stays at noon.
100%, which that feels like that could be a 325. That could get flexed to Sunday Night Football. Like, I think that's now the really hard stretch. And then you're right. When you think the Chiefs should be ramping up and playing their best football, that is, in theory, on paper, the easiest portion of their schedule, that final month of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what a great stretch. You get through there, you have the injuries, whatever, you find who and what your football team is, you have your identity, and then you go into December. We know how good Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have been in the month of December. I mean, this team amps up for the postseason. I mean, they amp everything up for the postseason. This slate of games for December, if they can get through November, because it's going to be tough. Dallas, Thanksgiving game, you know what they're going to do? They're going to move. They're going to wear you out because their offense is good. They can't play defense at all, but their offense is very good and formidable.
Right now, we're joined in studio by our guy, Jay Binkley, going through some of the top storylines right now with the Chiefs. We'll also talk some college football as well. Missouri has a very important game this weekend at home against Alabama. What's your worry level, panic level, whatever word you want to use regarding Harrison Butker? I'm probably at a 5.5. And the reasoning behind that is every week he finds himself in the principal's office. Like, we shouldn't have to talk this week, every week, about something going wrong with Harrison Butker, whether it's a missed field goal, a missed kick, kicking the ball out of bounds. Like, I just want a week in which he's just off the front page of the story. That's not what your kicker should be in that sense. So that's why I would put it at a 5.5. I'm not pressing the panic button. I don't think they should cut him. They're not bringing in another kicker. But as you continue to play these games, you got a game against a Lions team. Man, leaving points on the board is how you get beat. Coming up in a couple of weeks, you go on the road to play the Buffalo Bills. You can't leave 4 points on the field against that team. So that's why I'm at a 5.5. Where are you at?
Not very. I'd say probably 4, because he's been there before and then turned it around. And the one thing about it, when Veach took him off the practice squad of the Panthers, he came in here, ready to roll. He's still a young guy. He's not even 30 yet. It's hard to believe that, this guy that, came in really that first year that Mahomes was here, but Mahomes was redshirting. He played, but he's still a young guy. So you hope that comes down. But again, in Jacksonville, didn't have to use him until the very end for the kickoff that goes out of bounds, that I'm sure he would like to have that one back. So they were able to put points on the board and touchdowns instead of relying on the kicker at all times. But he's made some of the biggest kicks in Chiefs history, but it's, what have you done for me lately with kickers? It doesn't matter what you did the year before. It's how good are you right now? But, yeah, I think it kind of calms down and turns around. But, I mean, it could be an issue. We don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes down the stretch, but I have faith that, he'll figure that out.
Have you heard the Taylor Swift version of Lose Yourself?
Are you kidding me?
No, there's a real version of it.
Is this like Wood?
I have not heard Wood. I heard a small portion of Wood. I heard a piece of Wood.
What's it about? Firewood or wood?
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about Christmas firewood. That's what it's about. Have you heard the Taylor Swift version of Lose Yourself? Because I'll play it for you if you haven't heard it.
No, I haven't heard it.
Okay. All right. I'll play this for you.
When did she do this?
This was a long time ago. This is, I think, like 2014, 2013. This is when she was still going by T Swizzle. This is her cover of Lose Yourself by
Is this
Eminem.
after the Garth Brooks days?
I don't know, actually.
Good opening for him.
All right. If you had one shot, one opportunity to be the loudest crowd that we have seen all summer, would you take that shot?
Oh,
or just
boy.
let it slip? Yo.
Wow.
His palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
I think they should play this to pump up the crowd.
Honestly, Cody Cap's probably better. Honestly, those Cody songs about Vinny Pasquantino and Cody's probably, that's.
Can you imagine them playing? Just think about it. It's
Her
Taylor
name and
Swift.
type.
It's Taylor Swift. Kansas City loves Taylor Swift. I feel like we've adopted her. She's one of our own now. She's One of Us.
Not this, man.
You got Detroit, Eminem, 8 Mile. They're playing the Lions Sunday Night Football. You play this? I'm telling you, Arrowhead might break that sound record again. You might be in the Guinness Book of World Record again.
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of disrespectful to Detroit.
Okay, I didn't know.
What did you think of that, honestly? I mean, take everything else. How did you think of that, honestly? Like, if you just heard me play this.
I think that should be the song when the Chiefs score a touchdown.
Would you honestly say the Vinny Pasquantino Cody song was as good as that? If I ask you your honest opinion.
I think that should be the song when the Chiefs score a touchdown. That should be the song. I don't know what the song is now. Rob, what's the song the Chiefs play when they score a touchdown?
It's a Fight for Right to Party.
Okay. All right.
Kelce song.
Yeah. See, look. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You got a his and hers. So you know what?
So that was T-Sizzle.
Yeah. So whenever they have a passing touchdown, that's when they hit the fight for your right. Whenever they get a rushing touchdown, so when Kareem runs it in there from the 2-yard line, that's when you go with the lose yourself.
That doesn't motivate people.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should do what Colorado did. Whenever Travis Kelce scores, he gets that song.
Oh, kind of like Shador. Perfect timing. That's what it should be.
They should just play Wood. I mean, don't play this one. If Travis scores a touchdown, that's the song they should play.
You think they should play Wood?
Yeah, that Firewood song that she has.
Okay.
They should play that. Seriously, if he gets to the end zone, that's the one.
Have you heard the new album?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure.
No, I said clips of it because Alex played me clips the other day, last Friday.
All right, no, I wasn't sure. You saw. I've heard one song. I've heard one song in its entirety, the Ophelia song. I think that's the name of the song. And then I heard a piece of another song.
I have not.
When I was on TikTok.
I'm good. I don't listen to music very often.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No.
You just ride in silence in the car. You seem like an audio book guy.
Sports radio guy.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'll go pump around listening to you and Rob, man.
Okay, I wasn't sure. You seem like you're listening to a nice audio book.
Listen to Cody and Gold, listen to Dusty and Fesco in the morning.
You listen to Dave Ramsey radio. Maybe a little NPR for you when you're just riding around. That's what I thought.
Mostly just sports radio.
Right now we got our guy.
Very boring.
We got our guy Jay Binkley joining us in studio. Bink, let's talk about this Missouri game. Eli Drinkwitz does not have a win like this in his career. If you would identify the 5 best teams in the SEC during this stretch of Missouri football, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss, they only have a win against one of those teams. If you want to throw LSU in there, so the top 6 teams in the SEC over the last 2.5 years.
Unless Carolina, South Carolina, because they almost made the playoffs last year.
Almost. South Carolina is a good program. I wouldn't put them in the category of these other teams, but yeah, South Carolina is a good win. I think that Eli Drinkwitz kind of needs that banner win. And I would say that his time in Missouri has been building up to this moment. This is your quarterback. This is your guy in the transfer portal that you liked when it came to the running back room. Your wide receiver. This is your defense. Like, this team has your fingerprints. You have everything you need. Eli Drinkwitz is the 10th highest paid coach in college football. You have everything that you need to be successful. If Missouri is a true playoff contending team, you got to take care of business at home. Alabama is a great team. Alabama could win the SEC. Alabama is coming off 2 very difficult games in the SEC. Missouri is coming off a bye. You got to figure out a way to get this win at home against Alabama.
Yeah, and you got Ty Simpson climbing up those Heisman odd charts, and obviously Missouri wants Ahmad Hardy and Bo Bubila to be there. Ty Simpson, you look at 2nd and 3rd on all these odds, the quarterback at Bama. But I told you before I came in here that Lane Kiffin light is kind of like Eli Drinkwitz. Like, Lane Kiffin went through this thing in his career where all of a sudden people liked Lane Kiffin, right? Like, when he was bouncing around USC and Tennessee, maybe there were some issues or with the Raiders back then, but people like Lane Kiffin now. And Eli's doing a lot of the same stuff. He went on with Kalen DeBoer's press conference with the media the other day. They asked a question from Eli from University of Missouri. He goes on there and asks him if he's wearing the black sweatshirt, because that's the good luck sweatshirt that Kalen's been wearing for Alabama. He's very good. He's 5-1 against ranked teams, so he's proven that to this point. But with Eli doing that, and then the way that Eli has been likable in the transfer portal, Ahmad Hardy brings him right in. Led the Sun Belt in rushing last year, comes right in Missouri. Trotter, Jeremiah Trotter's kid playing for Missouri. Wilson on defense came over from the University of Georgia. Kevin Coleman, a great receiver. It's interesting because he's from St. Louis. He went with Deion back at Jackson State. Remember that whole deal with Travis Hunter and all these guys, playing with Deion at Jackson State. He did that, and then he transferred. And then he was at Mississippi State last year. Very good receiver, brings him in to Missouri. So he hit this transfer portal hard, bringing in a ton of talent because people like him. He's got that likability factor that coaches need to have. You know, it looks like a scientist at times with his glasses on or whatever, but he's a very likable guy. And the transfer portal guys do like him. And so, hey, Bo Prabula said, yeah, I want to go to Missouri. That part's huge for Eli, who's stacked up back-to-back double-digit wins. With that Ohio State game he had 2 years ago, going to 11 wins and then 10 wins. So 11 and then 10, we'll see where he goes. But he's got that likability factor where the transfer portal guys want to go to Columbia and play. And that part is huge because the transfer portal is so big in college sports.
I always felt like when Missouri, I guess maybe back to the Gary Pinkel days and sort of the early years in the SEC, I always felt that Missouri could compete from a skill position standpoint. It was really the line of scrimmage. I don't feel like Missouri could compete on the offensive line in the SEC or the defensive line or when they would go up against Texas and Oklahoma, and that usually was why I thought Missouri lost those games. I feel like Missouri can compete up front with Alabama, which gives them a chance. I saw Florida State run the ball all over this Alabama team. Missouri is a great running team. They're one of the best rushing teams in college football. You got Ahmad Hardy, you got Jamal Roberts, Bo Prabula can also run it a little bit. This is one of those games.
He's a very good runner.
This is one of those games where I think you need to limit Bo's attempts to 20 to 25. Missouri needs to run it 35 to 45 times. They need to control the line of scrimmage and control the tempo of this game. That's how they win, in my opinion.
Well, they do it with Zion Young on one side, get Damon Wilson on the other side, that defensive front, Trotter then back behind them at linebacker. But they have this kind of suffocating defense. And Missouri is the only team in the nation, top 5 in both total offense and total defense. And I know you look at the schedule and think, well, they did play South Carolina at least. That's why this game's so big. But they moved to number 2 in total defense as Oklahoma took over that top spot. But they're still top 5 in offense and defense, and you didn't think you'd see that. He's got a commanding lead in the SEC, Jamon Hardy. It's like over 200 yards, like over 250 yards rushing as far as his lead in the SEC. Jamal Roberts, the top 10 rushing guy in the SEC as well. That's a nice 1-2 punch than Missouri. Everybody thought that Singleton and Allen at Penn State was the best backfield in the country. You can make an argument the best backfield's in Columbia, Missouri.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. Bink, I have 2 things for you coming up on the other side. First thing is, I want you to think if you could add one player from the Lions to the Chiefs, which player would you add? I also want to go through, we got a great weekend in college football. Let's go through some of the matchups. We got Binkley in studio filling in for our guy, Nate Taylor, who is under the weather today. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant.
Ready to fire up your Saturdays? FanDuel has got a boost you don't want to miss. It's called Boostin' with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. So here's how it works. Each week, we're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everybody gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams, real Saturdays with an extra payout on the line. It's easy, it's fun, and it's only on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Alex to download the app.
check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on the action. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, listen to this. All it needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this pro football season unforgettable. Shoot your shot with same-game parlays, call your plays like a pro with live betting, or bet on a market you didn't know existed thanks to BetMGM Originals. You'll be on the edge of your seat from the very first snap, no matter what type of fan you are. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for the ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. Specific promotional offers are not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. We've got a crash, and it is 70 eastbound past 40 Highway. Right lane is blocked. Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and April Air and 20-plus other vendors at the KC Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. This Thursday, the 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. Enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Binkley is stepping in for our guy, Nate Taylor, who is under the weather today. A couple of things before we get to this weekend in college football. The first thing is, have you ever gone back and just looked at the 2008 Detroit Lions? Like, we really went through a golden era of football. We got to watch the 2007 Patriots, who, in my opinion, are the best football team that we've ever seen. I know they didn't win the Super Bowl. That's the best team that we've ever seen. And then the following season, we got the worst football team that we have ever seen. I mean, on a week-in, week-out basis, they were just getting the beats. I mean, the first 4 games of the season, 34-21, 48-25, 31-13, 34-7. I mean, the first month of the season.
It was Orlovsky-led team, wasn't it?
You're cooked. You're done.
Was that the Orlovsky who ran out of the end zone here?
That was the Orlovsky season. I mean, that season, Dan Orlovsky, to take you back in time, Dan Orlovsky made 7 starts. He was 0-7. He threw 8 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions and had a 72 quarterback rating. They then went in a different direction. They had Dante Culpepper. You've never seen a Dante Culpepper
Lions ears?
He was 0-5 that year, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating of 63.9. They then said, we can't do this anymore. Then they went to John Kitna. John Kitna was their starting quarterback for a time that year. He also obviously did not win a game. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That was the 2008 Detroit Lions.
Great team. Orlovsky legend.
So that is one of the things I wanted to get your thought on. The second thing is tomorrow in like an old school NBA Streets. I don't know if you played the game NBA Street or not, but if you would beat a team, you could take one player off their team and you can add them to your team. Now you have to drop somebody.
Yeah.
We don't got to do that in this. But if you could add one player from the Detroit Lions and put them on the Kansas City Chiefs, what player would you add?
Gosh, earlier in the year, man, it'd be hard-pressed not to take Amon St. Brown, and then, of course, Gibbs now. Or Aiden Hutchinson. I'd take Aiden.
I think Aiden is the right player to take. Just having him on the other side to really boost and generate the pass rush. I mean, I think he's one of the 5 best young pass rushers in the league. You're talking about a guy with an incredible motor, a guy who I think has a chance at some point in his career to win Defensive Player of the Year. I would put him number 1. I would put Gibbs second. Just having him, like if you want to think of the prototypical Andy Reid style running back, that's Jamal Charles. Like when I look at Jahmyr Gibbs, he looks like Jamal Charles to me. You're telling me I get a second chance to put Jamal Charles prime and I can put him in Andy Reid's offense?
But Aiden,
yeah, I take Jahmyr Gibbs.
But Aiden flips that field so much. He had 3 forced fumbles a couple years ago when he had those 11.5 sacks. He's already got 3 this year. So he's got 3 forced fumbles this year. He's got the 5 sacks already. That guy flips the field and he would put Mahomes back on the field. Aiden Hutchinson goes out there and puts Mahomes back on the field. So definitely I'd go Aiden.
Have you ever thought about this from this perspective? If you're Dan Orlovsky, you made it to the National Football League. Like, you know how hard it is to make it to the National Football League?
UConn.
You accomplished it. Like, you got the most out of your athletic ability. Very few people. And you also just didn't play the 1 year. You played 7 years in the National Football League. You made 12 starts. Like, you are an overwhelming success. The only thing people remember from your athletic career is when you ran out of the back of the end zone against the Minnesota Vikings. Like,
and now it's hot takes.
Like, you know, no one remembers a touchdown pass that you had. No one talks about your college football career. No one whereas you got drafted. Like, no one talks about any of those things. Dan Orlovsky is a success story. You're the guy that ran out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, now it's just full of hot takes and flips his takes back and forth, whoever's winning and losing. And Dan has found a home at ESPN.
All right, you know what I want to do? I want to get to some of the big-time college football games that we have this weekend. Rob, hit the music. All right, we have Ohio State on the road at Illinois. Is there any chance that Illinois pulls off the home upset? We see these happen in college football every weekend. Is there any chance it can be Illinois?
No, because this is a perfect spot for Ohio State. They proved that they could take apart that myth. Well, it's not a myth, I guess, where East Coast teams go to the West Coast when they went out and beat Washington a couple weeks ago. Very good Washington team, but they're staying right there in the Midwest. Illinois is a weird team. They get 63-balled by Indiana a few weeks ago. They stay ranked. They end up beating USC again. Weird deal with the West Coast team going to the East Coast. But yeah, I don't see Ohio State losing this. I think they're the best team in the country. I think Miami can make an argument to have a better resume right now in Ohio State, but they only play who's in front of them. They are the champs, so I'd still go Ohio State.
Indiana and Oregon. This is the 2:30 game on CBS. Indiana and Oregon, a classic Big Ten matchup that you have. I think this is a prime spot for Indiana to get rolled. Oregon right now is 7.5-point favorites. Honestly, what I would probably do is I'd maybe get that to 6.5 and do it in a parlay with another game that you feel very confident in. I think there's a chance that Indiana gets rolled on.
It's tough because, in Indiana, again, they're an hour ahead of us now in Bloomington. They're going all the way to the West Coast. So some of those classic games where Big Ten teams were 8-18 last year, moving and playing 2 time zones away. So we're seeing a classic matchup of that. I do feel that this Indiana team, though, is better than the Indiana team last year. They have 3 draftable receivers on this roster as well. And Fernando Mendoza, what a home run that was in the transfer portal coming over from Cal. They lose a couple great players last year, and he's one of them. Indiana's a very good team. But Oregon and Dante Moore, this is a Heisman battle too. Keep this in mind. They're both in the top 5 in Heisman odds as far as Dante Moore at Oregon and Fernando Mendoza at Indiana.
This line between Oklahoma and Texas has just danced around. At first, Texas was a small favorite in that matchup, and you could get a plus money on Oklahoma. Right now, Oklahoma is minus 1.5, basically a coin flip on the money line. Both of them are 108. Take the team that you think is going to win. Forget about the points here. I like Oklahoma. I actually think Oklahoma this season, they've been the best team in the SEC, but I understand with the injury to John Mateer why folks would be hesitant to bet them in this matchup.
Yeah, I like that, but Mateer stayed that game against Auburn, even with that hand. It happened in the first quarter. He stayed in. He wants to come back. It looks like he's been bumped up to probable this week with the college team. He's putting out the injury report, so probably going to get him. It is a neutral site game. It's at the Cotton Bowl there, so it's still down in the state of Texas, but rivalry games, weird things happen. But you're talking the number 1 defense in the country. You're thinking about John Mateer coming back. You're thinking about Arch Manning struggling against defense. He's never seen a defense like what Oklahoma's going to do. And this pass rush. Oklahoma had 10 sacks against Jackson Arnold in Auburn. They get after the quarterback and they play very good defense. So 1.5, it's a very, very tempting play.
Let me ask you this before we get out of here. Auburn, they're at home against Georgia. USC is at home against Michigan. Which of those home teams do you think is more likely to pull off the upset? Is it USC or Auburn?
Auburn. I think Auburn's a very good team. Actually, they probably should have beaten Oklahoma, except for that little trick play that shouldn't have been allowed that Oklahoma ran against them. But they were right there. And Jackson Arnold, I like him at quarterback. And Georgia, they didn't look so good against Alabama at home. And Gunnar Stockton, still like him at quarterback, but I'd go Auburn. USC, by the way, very explosive team. Their loss, again, happened when they went 2 time zones different.
Coming up on the other side, we'll get your keys to the game. Chiefs win if, Lions win if scenario, and most important, to hell with all this football stuff we've been talking about. You know what we got to do. It's time for random question time with Jay Binkley. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those Saturday showdowns. Take your excitement to the next level with a Parlay Boost token from BetMGM. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then add any college football parlay to your bet slip and apply the token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted parlay hits, you'll score a bigger payout. Every play can change the game, so don't settle for ordinary this season. Feeling good about your college football parlay? Claim your Parlay Boost token and make this season unforgettable. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Legendary. Doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this pro football season unforgettable. Shoot your shot with same-game parlays, call your plays like a pro with live betting, or bet on a market you didn't know existed thanks to BetMGM Originals. You'll be on the edge of your seat from the very first snap, no matter what type of fan you are. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for the ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. Specific promotional offers are not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up, Week 6 Pro Football Sunday, Pittsburgh hosts Cleveland. Pittsburgh, a 5.5-point home favorite. Total in the game, 38.5. And this is a brutal schedule spot for Cleveland. 3 straight road games, including an international game last week in London, and Pittsburgh coming off the bye. And I think Pittsburgh's quarterback is going to have success in the quick passing game against Cleveland's ferocious defensive front. Pittsburgh also getting healthier on defense up against Cleveland's rookie quarterback. I think Pittsburgh wins this game by 10. So on Sunday, I like laying Pittsburgh 5.5 against Cleveland. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase Thursday, October 23rd at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. We've got a crash, and it is 70 eastbound past 40 Highway. Right lane is blocked. Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and April Air and 20-plus other vendors at the KC Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. This Thursday, the 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger and Company Distillery. Enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
The only place in town to hear the hypothetical button game is on The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I do want to get back to very serious football things with Jay Binkley, and we'll do that coming up in 30 seconds. But Binkley, if you allow Rob and I to take a quick detour.
Yes.
Rob, I don't judge people for what you watch. You watch wrestling. You watch Real Housewives of the Potomac. It don't matter to me. But I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you have seen the trailers for that Chad Powers show and thought, that looks good, please don't text the show anymore. Please don't. I'm serious. In fact, no, what I want you to do is text the show. That looks like a great show, so I know exactly who to block on the text line. Sometimes you can just see the trailer of a movie or a show and be like, nope. Rob, does that not look like one of the worst things you could possibly watch?
It doesn't look good, which is crazy because Glenn Powell's like a huge star, and it does not look interesting at all.
Can't do it. I'm serious. I've never seen anything just so clearly. It's like that one where they got the dude from The Shield, and he's like playing high school football, and you're thinking, no, I'm not watching that. No, I'm not watching that. That's how I feel about this Chad Powers.
Just glad I don't have Hulu.
That was
everything else but that.
That was a good YouTube skit. It was very, very funny. A television show based around that? Absolutely not. Cannot do it. Cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Cannot do it. We got Binkley in studio. Binkley, give us your keys. Give us your Chiefs win if scenario. Give us your Lions win if scenario.
Chiefs win if they can control that defensive line of scrimmage. They can get back to the back, stop that rushing attack. For Detroit, keep Jared Goff in the pocket, pick him off, a time or two. They've been doing that well as far as getting the turnovers. But keep Jared Goff centered. And then on the flip side, Mahomes airing it out against this. Both their starting safeties are questionable. And, of course, Terry Arnold's out for they're saying now he'll come back eventually, but we don't know when. Of course, they lost DJ Reed as well at corner. So Mahomes aired out, take advantage of that defense, but control that line of scrimmage on defense. And conversely, the offensive line. This is a big boy test. This is an actual pass rush, better pass rush than I've seen since that Giants game and Burns, attacking them. But they, a little bit of hiatus last couple of weeks for a good pass rush.
I feel like this game really comes down to Chris Jones and Aiden Hutchinson and who plays better out of the two. I don't think the Lions can win this game if you don't get a great game from Aiden Hutchinson. You don't have enough on the back end, I think, to have a really good game. When you think of the weapons that Kansas City is starting to develop and the scheme and the offense, I think Mahomes throws for 300 yards against this team. Like, we're talking your number one, number two corner, and possibly both of your safeties. Like, I know next man up, but next man up's got a limit. This is the second string Lions secondary room. Like, that's a team that you got to take advantage of on the back half of the defense. So you got to get pressure up front. And if you're the Chiefs, you got to control the line of scrimmage. If the Lions are running the football effectively, I just don't know how much chance you have of stopping their offense. It really opens up everything else they do.
And I think they win if they, really get back to Patrick Mahomes and really disrupt that, throwing it downfield, utilizing some of that speed. Three of the guys below 4.3 speed. But they limit that by getting back to the quarterback, so the Chiefs are forced to throw more shorter routes and stuff. That's how I think Detroit can win this game if they win. I still think Chiefs find a way to get back to 3-3.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we will get back to the top stories of the day in Kansas City. But Binkley, before we do that, there's only one activity that I'm interested in doing. What is it?
Random question time!
Binkley, 2026, week 1, is Bill Belichick the head coach at North Carolina?
No, he's back in the media. He's over to ESPN. He's doing Inside the NFL again. He's found his new home. He will not be on the sideline.
This is what I've been saying. Bill Belichick just needs to call Bill Simmons and go do a podcast for The Ringer. That's what you need to do.
His girlfriend has been on the sideline during games. That doesn't happen at any level of football. What's wrong with this dude, man? I understand she's young and all this, and he's old. It's kind of cool to date that younger gal, a lot younger. But still, Bill, come on, man.
Bing, do you have a dream car? Like right now, if I gave you like $100,000 and I'm like, hey, go get what you need, or go put a down payment on something.
Yeah, I'm older now, so it'd probably be some form of SUV or truck or something like that. I'm just, you get that age where you turn that mid-century and no minivan or anything like that. Past that, but SUV type or no, not that. But
if
SUV
your
type
dream car was a minivan, I'm putting you with the Glenn. I'm putting you with the Chad Powers people.
No Chad Powers stuff, but it'd be like an SUV or truck at this point, I think.
Where did you go on your first date?
I think I watched football, actually.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
It was actually it involved football, yeah.
When you watch Dan Campbell on the sideline, do you do like the Leonardo DiCaprio gif? You're like, ooh, that's me. Like, you're Dan Campbell. That's who you could have been. In another life, you could have been Dan Campbell.
Yeah, maybe some Brian Daboll mixed in, throwing a fit on the sideline, checking out the injury tent and all that. But yeah, Dan Campbell. I mean, that looks like a dude you'd want to go have a beer with, man. Dan Campbell is like crossed into like top 3, go have a beer with dudes.
Rob, where was your first date?
Like ever?
Yeah. That'd be first, yeah.
Movie theater. There was a movie AMC near my parents' house. My parents dropped me off on a date with a girl to see I don't remember the movie, but we went and saw a movie. And then we went and got, like, there was like a Taco Bell around the corner. We got food there.
Big spender. That was a $40 date for you.
Just big. No, this is pre-inflation. This was like regular $20 date.
Well, back in the day, it used to be Applebee's, right? That was like the place to take your date to, man. It was fancy eating.
Gotta take her to the Bees. My first date, I went to Ward Parkway movie theater to go see Barbershop 2. That is where I went on my first date.
You still remember the movie and everything?
Yeah, Barbershop 2. I remember.
I can't even tell you what
That's
game
a very
game it was.
important time in a young man's life, your first date.
It's like you have these dates. I'll never forget the woman I was married to for over 20 years. She came over in the afternoons. Before I did this, it was the previous career, but she comes over to watch another game. She wanted to watch the Chiefs game. She came over and like the Rams were on at that point. Like this was when they were good at that point with Kurt Warner and stuff. And I was watching another game. And she goes, "You watch other games too?" And I said, I said, we better sit down and just talk a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I said, I watch a lot of other things too. Other games too.
Can I admit something to you?
Yes.
You can turn the music down. I think Rob might actually know this, but I just want to tell you this because I don't think I've told you this. So for the 4th of July, I was out and my friend was grilling some hot dogs and I was like, "Hey, what do you have to drink?" And I was like, at first I was like, "I'll just get some water." And he was like, "I got a Miller Lite." And I was like, "You know what? It's the 4th of July. Let me get a Miller Lite."
All right.
I actually don't know if I ever had a Miller Lite up to that point in my life. I don't think I ever had one.
Nice.
So I took the Miller Lite. That's the only beer I drink now is Miller Lite.
Is that right?
I've been hooked on Miller Lite ever since the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I feel like this is a low point in my life.
You've turned yourself around with these beers we drink.
That's what I'm saying. I feel
like a lot of them. Miller Lite's perfect.
This is where I feel like this is a low point because I don't even know at this point if I'm drinking it for flavor. Like, I definitely have had more flavorful beers, like Stella and Blue Moon. Like, I like those, a Boulevard Wheat. I don't know if I'm drinking. I don't know what it is. I just, like, I'll go out to eat, and I'm like, "What do you want to drink?" And I can't say anything else, just Miller Lite. That's all I can say. I'm stuck. I want to be out of this. I'm in a loop right now.
See, Drew Nixon, the producer of Cody and Gold, was around the 4th of July, and I was in there, and I said, "All right, well, you drink a Coors Light for me." And he did. It was like his first Coors Light he had. I was like, "Dude, just opened your eyes." I don't think he liked it, but I love it.
Actually, this is a perfect way to end this segment. Someone on the text line said, "Do you guys even realize how bad Shamari Connor has been?" Yeah, we know.
Barbecue chicken alert. Barbecue chicken alert.
We absolutely know how bad Shamari Connor is.
Just a man without a home. He's just trying to fit in. He's just, jack of all trades, master of none, man.
That is our guy, Jay Binkley, joining us in studio today to get you ready for a great weekend of football. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about how important this game is for the Chiefs. We'll also play the best of Devin McCourty, who is on Sunday Night Football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, the same forward as backwards. The wreck in Olathe is still there, 35 northbound at 169 highway. Right lane is blocked. 2-car crash, 70 eastbound past 40 highway. Right lane is blocked there. And I'm Val. KFNZ Traffic.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-351-4596. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-351-4596. 800-351-4596. 800-351-4596.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER Forward and Back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and Back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Don't you just love an NFL Sunday? You got your boys, your couch, your snacks, your favorite games, and FanDuel is sprinkling in something a little bit extra. This isn't just a normal NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your favorite go-to player prop, and they're making it even better at FanDuel because they're bringing the bonuses. That's right. All customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. So however you play your game, FanDuel's got your back when it comes to putting a little extra into your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to download the app and get in on the action right before kickoff. And remember, FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan and also the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com. It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning, and you too can be so much more.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
When it comes to buying a car, simple wins. Rob Sight Ford has the inventory, the trade values, and the non-commissioned team that puts you first. No pressure, just 4.8 stars on Google for a reason. ROBSIGHT.com.
I don't sell lab-grown diamonds because they represent everything that can be bad about the jewelry industry and are the opposite of why my family is in it. This is Gene at House of Diamonds. I opened my diamond and custom jewelry shop to build relationships of trust with my customers. Prior to opening House of Diamonds, I worked at other jewelry stores and saw how that trust can be betrayed. And now I'm seeing it again with those who are selling lab-grown diamonds for thousands, nearly all of it profit, knowing that they are worth nothing the second they leave the store. So if you ever want to sell that lab diamond or want to trade up, you have literally nothing to sell or trade. That will never happen at House of Diamonds. We guarantee a trade-in value of 100% of the price you paid us for your hand-selected natural diamond. Don't become a lab-grown diamond victim. Learn more at mybigrock.com and then come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Looking for the ultimate spot to watch Sunday football? It's all happening at Brew Brothers inside Harris Casino, Kansas City. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you'll catch every game, every Sunday. So no matter who you root for, your team is always on. Add in ice-cold drinks, mouth-watering food, and a crowd that loves football just like you. And you've got the perfect game day atmosphere. Every snap, every score, every Sunday. Brew Brothers is football headquarters. Be there this weekend at Harris's Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danny, and Kling on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. K-State fans, KU fans, I don't want you to feel like you have been left out this week in the conversation. Now, I know I care more about the Missouri game because I'm a Missouri fan, but our show has definitely shown love to the other two schools. I just want to let you guys in on my thought process. K-State, I think your football season is over. I think you guys have one game left. Are you guys going to keep the streak alive against KU? Last week, when you had that game against Baylor, Rob, did we not cover that? Were we not on top of it? We were on top of that game. You guys lost again. We moved on. I'm not here to waste Wyatt Thompson's time. Why are we having Derek Young on and John Kurtz to preview that? If you guys get back into bowl contention, we're happy to spin the block on K-State football. Right now, hey, we've moved on as a show. I didn't want to move on, but Rob, we moved on to the show. We'll catch back up with you guys in a couple of weeks when you play KU. That game matters. Rob's going to be there. Rob's ready to storm the field. Rob, have you ever stormed the field at a KU football game?
I was as a student, yeah, a couple times.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, get prepared, because if they beat K-State this year, they're running on the field. I don't care how bad K-State is this year. They're running on the field.
You're telling me they beat a 2-5 K-State team, the students come on the field?
They need to absolutely run on the field.
That's fair.
And whatever fine you get, David Booth, hey, some of that money you got, pay for this. These kids have earned this. This program has earned this. Yes, we're running on the field. We're tearing down the goalpost, and we're partying at the Hawk and the Wheel, and we're going crazy. That's what needs to happen.
By the way, I'm sorry, K-State fans. I did push you to 2-5. I know you're not 2-5 yet.
They might be.
You got one game. You got TCU.
They're right around the corner from 2-5. And KU fan, I know we haven't talked enough about your game this week, and I say this with no disrespect. I think y'all about to get the brakes beat off y'all this weekend. I really do. I think you guys are about to get smoked this weekend by Texas Tech. That's why we haven't spent any time talking about it. You guys have had a good season so far. You really have. You're 4-2. Win 2 more games. Let's get to this bowl game. Hey, I'm pulling for you guys. On the road at night against the best team in the Big 12, I think it might be parental discretion advised on this one.
I think it's homecoming in Lubbock, too.
I think they might beat the brakes off you. I really do. I think that's possible. So I really don't want you guys to think that we were hating this week, like, oh, you only talked about Mizzou. Why haven't you talked about our team? K-State fan, there's no reason to talk about your team. And KU, if you guys were at home, we'd be talking because you guys possibly pull off the upset on the road at night for homecoming. Come on now. We got other things. We got other things to get to in the show. All right, in our 5 o'clock hour, we are going to get you ready for Sunday Night Football. We're also going to get you ready for Mizzou and Alabama. Missouri, their season starts tomorrow. I don't care what Missouri has done before this. I don't care about beating South Carolina. I don't care about beating Kansas. I don't care any of that. Their season starts tomorrow against Alabama. All right, Rob, let's start with this, because I feel like we are in a circle of deja vu. Everything that I said 2 weeks ago in relation to the Ravens, I now feel with the Lions. We are in the exact same place. This relationship has not grown. It has not taken the next step. At that point, you were looking to avoid 1-3 and go to 2-2. Now you were looking to avoid 2-4 or possibly going to 3-3. It is a massive difference. A massive difference in being 3-3 and 2-4. This is the analogy I'll make. I'm 37 years old. I don't consider myself to be old. I'm not Unc. Not yet. I mean, Unc is coming. I mean, it's right around the corner. But I don't think I'm Unc yet. I'm also not young, and I know that. That's kind of where we are in the season. It is not early anymore, but it's also not late. It is week 6. We have seen a third of the games in the National Football League. Now, it is important to note that the Chiefs haven't had their best skill position player, so I do feel like a lot of the things that have happened, you were kind of grading on a curve. But in the same way back when we had class, you can still pass the course even if you get off to a slow start in the quarter. You got midterms to make it up. You got the final exam. Absolutely. You just create more work for yourself because you BS'd around the first couple of weeks of the semester. That's kind of where the Chiefs potentially are. If you go to 2-4, when Rashee Rice gets back, you got to do some work to be at 500 by the time you get to Buffalo. I'm kind of breaking this season down into quarters. The first quarter of the season is we got to make it until we get back our explosive players. You lost Xavier Worthy on the first possession of the season. You didn't have Rashee Rice because of the suspension. Those first 4 games were about, we just got to make do with what we got. Next man up. We're going to try to do this with defense. We're going to try to do this with Pat being special. That was the first 4 weeks of the season. October, to me, is ramping up to play Buffalo. The Buffalo game really, really matters. Nothing is off board for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a game against the Colts later on in this season. They got a game against the Buffalo Bills later on in this season. So the division is not out of hand. The 1 seed is not out of hand. All of the things that the Chiefs set out to accomplish are still there. October, to me, is about the ramp up. It's time to get going. You then look at November. The Chiefs might have the toughest November of any team in the National Football League. In 4 straight weeks, they play at Buffalo, at Denver, home against the Colts, a game that we didn't really spend that much about. I'm guessing at the very beginning of the season, that was one of the easier tickets to get at Arrowhead. It was either that or the Titans game. I think the Titans game is at home. Maybe I'm off my schedule just a little bit. So the Colts game, and then you go on the road on Thanksgiving on a short week against Dallas. And Dallas, say what you want about Dallas. That team can score. That team can put up points. It's Thanksgiving. It's a who knows what could happen kind of game. So to me, this month is about, hey, let's put ourselves in a good situation so when we get to November, we are starting to play our best football. That starts with taking care of business on Sunday against the Detroit Lions and just not creating more work for yourself in the second portion of the season. Rob looked this up, and I think these stats are very important. Since the playoff expanded back in 2020, there have been 45 teams that have started 2-4. 45 teams or worse. 45 teams. 7 of those teams have made the postseason. Only 3 of those teams won their division. And one of the teams that won their division, they won it with a 10-7 record. Now, say what you want to say about Denver. Say what you want to say about the Chargers. One of those teams is winning more than 10 games this year. The Chiefs will likely still win more than 10 games this year. But you still got to think, in order to win a division, you got to think that you need to win 11 or 12 games in order to get there. And again, it just becomes harder the deeper and deeper we get into the season, and you are continuing to rack up losses. Another reason why this is important is I'm looking at the schedule for the Denver Broncos. If you want to play the schedule game, and that's perfectly fine, we can play it. I don't know if you can have a much easier schedule the next month of the season than the ones that the Broncos have. The Broncos play the Jets coming up in London. They play the Giants at home. The Giants are fun, but the Giants to me seem like a team that are going to give a lot of people fits at home and going to lose a lot of road games this year. They also play Dallas. That's also a home game. They go on the road and play Houston, and Houston, in my opinion, has been one of the 5 most disappointing teams in the league. So the Broncos really have an opportunity to really start to gobble up some wins. And by the time they play Kansas City, we could be talking about a team that's 8-3, that's 7-3, and that's playing really good football, playing with confidence. And it's a divisional game, and the Broncos have played Kansas City very tough over the last couple of years. So right now, my only message is just don't create more work for yourself. You put yourself behind the 8 ball in the early portion of the season, but there is still more than enough time, an ample amount of time to get yourself out of that situation. But you got to take care of business at home in a home game against the Detroit Lions. I am really putting the responsibility of this game, I'm putting it on Chris Jones. We know that Detroit wants to run the football. And I know the stat about the Chiefs. They have gone, I think it's like 30-something games without letting a running back run for over 100 yards. One of the 2 guys on Detroit can, whether it's David Montgomery, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, they have the most explosive 1-2 punch of any team in the National Football League. They got 2 very strong, very dynamic backs. David Montgomery is more of the bruiser, and Jahmyr Gibbs might be the most talented running back in the National Football League. You also know with the Lions that they're a team that could throw it if necessary. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a guy that could have 100 yards. Jameson Williams is a guy that could have 100 yards. Sam Laporte is a guy that could have 8 catches for 70 yards in the middle of the field. And then everybody else kind of plays their position. I think the Lions are arguably the best team in the league. I will put Buffalo at number 1. If you think it's the Lions, I'm not really going to fight you that hard on it based on what we've seen them do so far this year and the kind of offense that I think they have. But I think this is very, very important. You were talking about a team right now in Detroit that is super banged up. I mean, I'm looking right now at the injury report for them. I'm looking at who's going to be available and who's not going to be available. And I'm telling you right now, this is a team right now that is dealing with a lot of injuries. Their number 1 and number 2 corner are potentially out for this matchup. Their number 1 and number 2 safeties also out for this game. One of their linebackers also out for this game. So you're talking about a team right now that is super banged up. Sometimes it's not who you play, but sometimes it's when you play them. And I'm not sure right now if there is a better time to play the Lions than right now when they're completely wounded, when they're down 2 corners, when they're down a couple of safeties, when they're down a linebacker, when they're down a nickel corner. There's a chance that they could have 4 starters from their opening day lineup out in the secondary. So this is a situation you got to take advantage of them. We have all applauded Kansas City's offense for turning the corner. I give their offense a lot of credit. Every portion of their offense is better than it was a month ago. They're getting better running back play than they got a month ago. They're better at wide receiver than they were a month ago. They're better up front on the offensive line. Well, this is a test, because if this game turns out to a shootout, I don't know if you had the bullets to keep up a month ago. I do think you have the bullets in this one to keep up with them. I do think the Chiefs can win a 28-24 game, a 31-28 game. And I think the Chiefs offense is in a position where they can take advantage of the Detroit Lions, and they can score points against this defense right now that's a little bit banged up.
Let me ask you a question, because those stats combined with the Chiefs' opponent, I don't want to say this week is must-win, because I don't believe this week is must-win. But if you fall to 2-4, you start looking at every game as maybe a little must-win, and especially the Broncos' schedule. At what point do you think, and I'm asking you maybe an impossible question, at what point do you think the average Chiefs fan might become alarmed? Because I would tell you that even after the loss to Jags, doing the show, our text line, social media was like, just wait. Just wait. We don't have Rashee Rice back. The offense starting to turn the corner. They'll tighten up. They're the Chiefs. We've talked about on the show, me and you, how the Chiefs are not judged by what they are doing or what they've done. They're judged by what everyone believes is going to happen in the future. Do you think, based on the Broncos schedule, the quality of opponent the Chiefs are playing, the way the Chiefs have been really playing, do you think eventually there's a tipping point with fans and they start to become a little more alarmed? Because even if the Chiefs win against the Lions and avoid 2-4 and go to 3-3, the Broncos are going to start gobbling them up, and the Bills aren't that far down the line, and the Bills have just looked better than the Chiefs this season. Now, there's a lot of time between now and then. Do you think there will be a moment where fans get alarmed, or is it just we're good, we're the Chiefs?
I mean, I think we're a long way from that. I would say the stretch around Thanksgiving, I mean, their final handful of games, they got a home game against the Colts. That's a game you got to win. That is a team that is going to be in it for the long haul, I think. Maybe you don't think they're good, but we've seen this before. We've seen the Titans a few years back go to the AFC Championship game. There's always that team in the AFC South that plays in a weak schedule that is able to just gobble up wins. I think that team this year is the Indianapolis Colts. You go on the road in Thanksgiving. You and I both know that's going to be the most watched regular season game possibly in the history of the National Football League. So it's going to have a lot of eyes, a lot of attention. I think that's when you started. And then when you get back to December, I mean, the Chiefs, they have a stretch where they play Houston at home. Houston is not a good football team. They play the Chargers at home. That's a game that I'm guessing the Chiefs are going to have to win that game. You already lost the first game. We all expect this to be a tight divisional race. You're going to have to win the game at home against the Chargers. You got the Titans. I don't care where they play that game. It could be Kansas City, Tennessee, or the Moon. You need to beat the Titans this season. You got the Broncos at home. Like, you play 2 important division games in 10 days, essentially, because of the short week to turn around with Christmas and everything. So, yeah, I would say Thanksgiving is when I think most Chiefs fans are going to start that conversation that you're having. When are we kind of over the first part of it, and now you're getting to these games matter? We expect to be playing our best games. We need to start ramping up and playing championship-level football. So I think we're 7-8 weeks away from that, and I think we're talking about the Thanksgiving game against the Dallas Cowboys. I want to play this audio for you guys to bounce around to college football here for a little bit, and we'll come back around for the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to play this audio for you. This is Brandon Walker. He is with Barstool. He thinks this is the biggest Missouri game ever.
Missouri, this is a once in a generation type of opportunity. This is, we finally got our coach. We finally got everything. He's laid the foundation, and everything in the Drake era has led to this moment right here. They are undefeated. This is the biggest game. If you're an Alabama fan, this isn't the biggest game of the month. If you're a Missouri fan, this is the biggest game of your life.
All right, I don't want to get caught up on, is this the biggest game that Missouri has ever had? It's not close to me, in my opinion. But I do think some of the sentiment that he is explaining and describing, I think is very, very important. I do think this is the most important game of the Eli Drinkwitz era. I do believe that Missouri as a program has been sort of ramping up and focused on this one. Missouri has done a very good job over the last 3 years, I would say in 3 very important categories. They have recruited very well out of high school and been very competitive nationally. They have been very competitive in the transfer portal. I'm assuming that Bo Pribula, he wasn't cheap. I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess he wasn't cheap in the transfer portal. So they've done great when it comes to high school. They've done really, really good, I think, when it's come to the transfer portal. I think they've been really good with NIL and very, very competitive. And if you can get all those things to align and you have invested in the football program, they got construction going on right now. Eli Drinkwitz is the 10th highest paid coach in college football. Missouri has shown a commitment to the football program. They have given their head coach everything he needs to win a game like this. I think the one knock, and I use knock very, very lightly on Eli Drinkwitz, is he doesn't have this in his resume. They don't have one of these wins since he's been the head coach at Missouri. Now, it took time. Pinkel didn't get those. Pinkel did not get those wins until 2007. I guess maybe you could say Nebraska when they finally beat Nebraska, and that was a long time coming. But it took Pinkel a little bit to get those wins. That's kind of where Eli Drinkwitz is right now. He doesn't have a win against Georgia, doesn't have a win against A&M, doesn't have a win against Ole Miss. He beat LSU, but that was the weird COVID season back in 2020. Doesn't have a win against Alabama. He doesn't have one of those marquee wins. What's the biggest win you would say of the Eli Drinkwitz era? Is it the 60-something yard field goal against K-State? Is it the last-second fourth-quarter win against Florida? Like, I'm just trying to think of what people would deem as the most important, the biggest win in the Eli Drinkwitz era. That will no longer be a question if they win this game. And last season, when they had a couple of games like this, and they had games like this, they got smoked in these games. They got embarrassed by Texas A&M last season. They got embarrassed by Alabama last season. They were not competitive in either one of those games. If Eli Drinkwitz is the coach that I think he can potentially be and has built the program that Missouri appears to be, taking care of business at home against Alabama is a natural step and progression. The same way that it was for Pinkel, the same way that it is for a lot of great coaches. If Missouri is serious about being competitive in the SEC and being a playoff caliber team, you got to figure out a way to win this game.
I agree with that last part. I agree with you. I don't want to get into a whole debate about what Eli's best wins are at Mizzou. Like maybe the bowl game against Ohio State, I would say, maybe the Cotton Bowl, I pushed him to 10 wins. But there's no point in getting that argument. This is not the biggest game in Mizzou history, all those things. I think this, though, and Gabe DeArmond was on the show yesterday. You can catch it on the podcast page. He made this point, and I think it's perfect for Mizzou for this season for the college football playoff. Mizzou has 5 really difficult games remaining on their schedule. They have this one this weekend against Alabama. I know Alabama's not Nick Saban's Alabama. Make no mistake, despite their week 1 loss, Alabama still looks like Alabama. You have Alabama, you have Vanderbilt, which is crazy to say just as a college football fan. Talking about the Lions bouncing back, Vanderbilt's in this list. You have at Auburn, you have at Oklahoma, and you have A&M. Like, there are 5 really difficult games in this schedule. And Gabe's point yesterday on the show was, if you lose against Alabama, you basically make it impossible for yourselves to make the playoff because you have to go 4-1 in those other games, and you might need some help because 10-2 in the SEC, there might be a couple 10-2 teams in the SEC. Your resume is lacking that win at that point. If you win this one, you give yourself grace. You can now go 3-2, or I guess 2-2 in the rest of those games because you would have beaten Bama. If you do have a loss to A&M and Oklahoma, but you beat Bama, your resume looks light years different because we know with the new system, it's not go undefeated or you don't make it. You can be last year's Tennessee team that went 10-2 and made the college football playoff. But you know what Tennessee did last year? They had marquee wins. They had marquee moments on their path to the playoff. A marquee win, no offense to Vanderbilt, is not Vanderbilt on the road. A marquee win is Bama at home. So the path to the playoff starts with a win on Saturday, or it's playing near perfect down the stretch against a very difficult SEC schedule.
Very simply put, there has never been more grace in college football to get to the end result. There's never been more grace. In every version of college football before last season, if you lose one time, that potentially ends your season. And that was part of the intrigue, excitement of the regular season. Now I think it's, can you be a part of this very special club? These games matter, the playoff games. The rest of the games don't matter, and only your fan base cares about it. Nobody else cares about the Music City Bowl or the Sun Bowl or whatever bowl these kids are going to these days. The kids don't care. No one cares. If Missouri wants to be the program, again, that I think they can be, if you look at how they've spent money in NIL, how much they spend on their coach, how much money is coming into the program, you can be a 10-2 team that makes the college football playoff. They've done that 3 times over the last 15 years. We just didn't have that system of how we determined how you compete for a national championship. You got to go 10-2 this season. You have a 5-game stretch against Alabama, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. If you go 3-2 in that stretch and don't fall over yourself in the other 2 games, I believe Missouri will be in the college football playoff. That's the focus. So if you think this is the biggest game Missouri's ever had, that's perfectly fine. Then next week is even bigger. Then in 2 weeks against Vanderbilt on the road is even bigger. These 5 games, as of now, have all the equal importance to me. You got to figure out a way to win them. Now, they'll change as you get there. If Missouri has 2 losses and you're on the road against Oklahoma, that is a playoff game then at that point. You cannot lose this game. If you lose, your season is over theoretically, and get ready to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl for all I care. It doesn't matter. So, yes, this is a very, very important weekend. Where I give Missouri a chance to win this game is, I always thought the difference between Missouri and the upper echelon teams in college football came down to the line of scrimmage. Missouri has had a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good running backs, a lot of good wide receivers. Where they have struggled is on the offensive and defensive line against the marquee teams in college football. They have a running game and an offensive line that I think can compete. They have a defensive line and a defense that I think can compete against Alabama. If Florida State can beat this Alabama team, Missouri can beat this Alabama team. They have played 2 very grueling SEC matchups. Missouri has played kind of cupcakes over the last couple of weeks, and they also had a bye week. So Missouri is coming in fresh. Alabama's coming in a little bit wounded after these last couple of games. This is as good of a time as ever to get that marquee win against a marquee program like Alabama. Coming up on the other side, we had Devin McCourty join us on the show. He is with NBC Sports and Football Night in America. We'll play the best of that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
NFL Sunday's coming. You've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel's coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop. And now we're making it even better because this week FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Listen up, folks. I want to tell you guys about my new obsession. It's Daisy French Onion Dip. With football season here, it is the perfect dip for your chips, your wings. The delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and the Daisy Ranch Dip, they're game changers. They're delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and real spices and also ingredients that you find right there in your kitchen. So the next time you're having people come over to celebrate the start of the football season, you better make sure you have one thing, and I'm talking about that Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it the next time you go to the grocery store.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, we're in the heart of football season, and the players, they got to be on their game and at peak performance and ready to go when it matters most to try and get a win on Sunday, Saturday, whatever time of the week they play. You also have to be ready and confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Day and nights just got longer, and better for everyone because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. It'll have you feeling fantastic. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Confident where it counts. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free. BlueChew.com and get your first month free. A small chew for a big difference. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Okay, multi-car crash now. Left lane is blocked out to the west. 70 eastbound just past mile marker 217. Wrecker on the scene, and they say will be open soon. Raytown, that's a crash. 435 southbound, the on-ramp from Gregory. I'm Val. KFNZ traffic.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Earlier today, we had Devin McCourty on the show. You were going to see him Sunday on Football Night in America. And we asked him, as a former player and now as an analyst, how crazy is it to see the Lions go from where they were to where they are now?
So true. And I've been one of those guys that each time the Lions were getting in these big moments, I'm like, all right, they're going to fall here. They're going to fall. And again, but they have a team that's built around their head coach and his mentality. And he's brought that mentality, and I would say it sticks out for a guy like Jared Goff. You know, he's in L.A., he's on the Rams, having great success. We played against him in the Super Bowl, but he morphs into this different guy under Dan Campbell and how he energizes him and how he goes out there and leads the team. They're fun to watch, and I think for Kansas City, this is the type of matchup coming off that Monday night game, now a short week. The game ends in a weird way where Chris Jones stops on the play, one of your best players, and Harrison Bunker kicks the ball out of bounds. Two of your better players end up in key moments where they usually deliver. They don't. So now you're like, all right, we got to just get our feet back under us, get going. Oh, yeah, now you got to deal with the Detroit Lions, who's not going to stick their toe in the water to start this game. They're going to come out swinging, throwing haymakers, and if they feel like they got Kansas City in a vulnerable situation, they're going to try to bury him. And I think for Kansas City, this is the kind of test you want. You want to see where exactly you're at, and then in a week you'll get Rashee Rice back, and hopefully I think they'll be thinking now it's time to start rolling these victories and start feeling like ourselves.
Right now, we're talking to Devin McCourty of NBC Sports Football Night in America. This feels like such an important swing game for the Chiefs. Not that you're going to bury the Chiefs if they lose this game, but there is a massive difference in being 3-3 when you get Rashee Rice back for next week against the Raiders and being down 2-4. We mentioned the parity in the AFC. Also in the division that Kansas City's in, this is as strong of an AFC West that I think there's been during Patrick Mahomes' career. This is a very important home swing game for the Chiefs.
Yes, you're trying to play your best ball at the end of the season. It's key to pick up the wins along the way. And you don't want to be in the hole 2-4. I remember 2021, we got to 2-4. We ended up making the playoffs, but every game kind of turned into a must-win. And then at the end of the season, when you don't win a game that you feel like you should, it feels like this ultimate letdown because now you're looking at where you fall in the conference. All right, now we're a wild card team, we're a game out, we're this, we're that. You kind of want to be in a situation which Kansas City has lived in where all you're really fighting for is home field advantage, and you feel good each week. So I think it's an important game, not only in the standings, but I think mentally for them as a team to know, all right, we didn't play our best ball, but we still played at 500. Now we're getting a weapon back that's going to make us even better. That's just a better feeling about yourselves, and it gives you the confidence if you walk away and we say, hey, we just took on the best team, the best they have to offer in the NFC right now, and we handled them and beat them, and we're not even at our best. I think that's what they're looking for to go into that next week and get Rashee Rice back.
You mentioned Chris Jones earlier, and that was a big talking point here in Kansas City is about the effort on that final play. That's why I'm kind of looking at him in this matchup. I don't think the Chiefs win this game, not with the various weapons that the Lions have on offense, if you don't get a great version of Chris Jones. You don't need some 3-sack, 2 forced fumbles performance, but you need him to be in the middle of almost everything you do defensively against a team that can run it as effectively as the Lions do, and also a quarterback that can throw for 300 yards if necessary.
Yeah, I think for him and his defense as a whole, this offense is starting to click. Now it's time to get those big stops. It's time to get those turnovers and takeaways to kind of change how these games are being played. You don't want to play every single game comes down to a third down or a fourth down. You want to try to be able to end the game with the ball in your hands, victory formation. So I think the hard thing for me right now when I look at the Chiefs is you look at week 1, you lose to the Chargers. You can argue Chris Jones is probably supposed to stay outside. Maybe they stop Justin Herbert. They have to punt to Mahomes. They go and get the winning drive. Then you lose to the Eagles on a play with Kelsey and Mahomes. Maybe Kelsey doesn't get his head around. Maybe Mahomes throws early. I don't know. But it turns into a big interception. Then you have the Chris Jones. We've never really seen this Chiefs team where their best players end up in the key moments not coming through. We're just so used to saying, oh, well, Kelsey makes a big play. Oh, Chris Jones with a big pressure or sack that ends the game. So I think they mentally got to get that out of their heads and just go play. Every year in this league, you got to redefine who you are and kind of put a stamp on your presence. But when you're the Eagles and when you're the Chiefs, every week you're getting a team's best shot. They want to see where they fall and where they are in the rest of the league, and you are the litmus test. They know playing against you and beating you means they've arrived, so you have to be prepared for that each week.
I want to get your thoughts on the Detroit Lions. Let's focus in on the offense. Really, really impressive. They can do just about everything. They run the ball as effectively as everybody. They throw the ball as well as any team in the league. I feel like all offseason we all wanted to see what that offense was going to look like minus Ben Johnson, and I think they've answered that question. This is still, in my opinion, the most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah, I think one thing we all forgot about was Dan Campbell by nature. He's an offensive mind. He played tight end in the NFL. I think he was very up on what Ben Johnson was doing. So I think he is a little bit of what's left from that offense. Everyone was like, man, Ben Johnson left. He took assistant coaches with him and all of these things. And we kind of forgot, man, Dan Campbell's still there. He's still going to be a part of this situation. And what's so hard about the offense, they make you prepare for a lot of different things. They're going to have 2 tight end sets out there. Then they're going to go out there with Khalif Raymond usually in the slot. And we'll have to see where his health is at for this week, but he's in the slot. That's a different type of third receiver. Then Tesla is going to come in, a bigger third receiver, and they're going to make you prepare for Montgomery being in the backfield, then Gibbs being in the backfield, then Gibbs kind of being that receiver. So when you go into the week, you're like, man, this is a lot to prepare for. We got to know when each guy's in this position and that position, and when you have to prepare for so many different things, you don't always get to master one thing or another thing. And then Detroit has the versatility to come in and focus and be kind of primarily in different sets that you won't know until the game gets going. So it's a lot to prepare for. But Spagnuolo's the type of coordinator that I think as a defense, you go in there confident that he'll have a game plan and be able to stop them a little bit.
I thought Aiden Hutchinson had a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year last year before the injury. I think you're seeing a pass rusher who is really starting to figure a lot of things out. He had the big forced fumble earlier in the season against the Baltimore Ravens where he punched the ball out on Derrick Henry. I'm looking at this on the other side, too. This Kansas City offensive line has really performed very well the last couple of weeks. They got a big-time test against a big-time player here coming up on Sunday night.
Yeah, I've loved when Kelvin Shepherd hasn't just given the offense what exactly they're in, and they disguise or they jump into a different zone. So I think when they do that, they give these pass rushers like Aiden Hutchinson, they give them an extra second and a half to get home. And you see in the Baltimore game, they started out heavily in man-to-man. Baltimore had some drives. Then they started switching up, getting in different zones. Lamar Jackson then had to hold the ball, and when he held the ball, you saw Hutchinson, you saw Muhammad, you saw different guys getting to him and making it hard. And I think Mahomes falls into that category as well. Like, if you just go out there and you give him a look and he knows what it is, he's going to have a field day. So I look for Detroit to try to be multiple, be in different sets, especially if there's no Terrion Arnold. DJ Reed's already out. You go into a game without your two top corners, it makes it a little harder. And I think they're going to have to be, versatile and multiple in so many different formations, man-to-man, zone, three-man rushes, four-man. I think they're going to have to keep mixing it up and not just give it to Mahomes and make it hard, similar to the play we saw last week in the goal line that Jacksonville did when they jumped out of a blitz zero. Mahomes didn't catch it in time, and they ended up with a pick six.
That was Devin McCourty of Sunday Night Football joining us on the show, getting you ready for Chiefs and Lions. Coming up on the other side, we'll get to the top storylines of another week in the National Football League. Keep it right here. It's The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Don't you just love an NFL Sunday? You got your boys, your couch, your snacks, your favorite games, and FanDuel is sprinkling in something a little bit extra. This isn't just a normal NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your favorite go-to player prop, and they're making it even better at FanDuel because they're bringing the bonuses. That's right. All customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. So however you play your game, FanDuel's got your back when it comes to putting a little extra into your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to download the app and get in on the action right before kickoff. And remember, FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan and also the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost. Tokens restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. You know, confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan. During halftime or overtime, from spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Okay, freeway has been reopened. Multi-car crash, though. Left lane is blocked now. 70 eastbound past mile marker 217 out West Kansas Way. Lee Summit, that crashed. 49 southbound past Red Bridge is in the right lane. I'm Val. KFNZ Traffic.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Red Friday. Before we sign off for the day, let's get you ready for Week 6 in the NFL. Before we get to it, I want to point out one thing. The check engine light has been coming on for the Philadelphia Eagles for quite some time. I would say one of the mistakes that we make as sports fans is, well, they won. But I'm watching the games. It didn't feel right with the Eagles. It hasn't felt right with the Eagles. Honestly, it hasn't felt right since the rain delay in Week 1, the opening night of the National Football League. It's felt off ever since then. A.J. Brown, they're having meetings. I didn't need the losses to tell me something was going on. I see that something is going wrong. So, I mean, the Eagles got a couple extra days to think about it and have more powwows and have more meetings, but something's off. Something is broken right now with that team. We spent all summer arguing if Jalen Hurts was the 5th best quarterback in the league. He might be the 5th best quarterback in his own division. They stink right now. They're not efficient offensively at all. What's their identity? Other than the tush push, I don't know what their identity is right now. Saquon's not going crazy. The wide receivers are unhappy. Jalen Hurts, he talks like a like Chat GPT in press conferences. I mean, it ain't looking good right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, let's get to some Week 6 storylines.
Carrington, let's start with everyone's favorite storyline, which, of course, the MVP, because they give out that award on the 12th of October. But who do you have as the early favorite? Because this year, your usual suspects are not your usual suspects, with Mahomes not currently playing at MVP rate. Josh Allen is, but back-to-back is very difficult, and Lamar Jackson is on the sideline. Who do you have right now as the favorite for the MVP award in the NFL?
That's a great question. It's funny because last year, I don't think that Josh Allen should have got the award. I think right now he's the favorite. Number 2 might surprise you. I think right now Baker Mayfield is very seriously in the conversation for NFL MVP. He has gotten off to a fantastic start. Now, obviously, we have a long way to go in this thing, but if we had determined that only a quarterback can win the award, and right now I'm kind of struggling to find another player, maybe you would argue Jonathan Taylor, but it's early on in the season. I'm not here ready to bang that drum quite yet for Jonathan Taylor. I think right now the NFL MVP has been Josh Allen.
You have Josh Allen repeating? Is it really the repeat? I mean, I guess maybe
right now, based on how the season's played out so far, I mean, you're right. We're not giving out the MVP award yet, but I mean, Josh Allen, I think, has proven that so far in the regular season, I think Josh Allen has been the best player in the regular season. I do think that.
Is that with his regular play, or are you including the fact that there's a higher threshold for back-to-back?
His play this season.
Okay.
Yeah, his play this season.
That's fair.
I'm still open.
I actually think the answer is Baker Mayfield, by the way.
Yeah,
but
I'm not against Baker. I'd have Baker at number 2.
Speaking of quarterback in the NFL, one of the biggest storylines from Sunday involves an old quarterback, and that's Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is back to starting this week. He will start for the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been in desperate need of just competent quarterback play. Do you believe the ageless wonder will give a jolt in the arm to the Bengals offense, or is their season done?
What's that Ariana song? Thank you, next. Let's move on. I'm not spending time in my day talking about Joe Flacco playing quarterback for any other teams. We've done that enough in our lives. I know what he is. He can't move. And in 2025, if you can't move, you can't play quarterback in the National Football League.
He was a Super Bowl champion, Carrington. He can't be worse than Jake Browning. He can't.
He has
Despite
the
what someone says in our group text, Jake Browning stinks.
He has the athleticism of a toddler learning to walk. That's the athleticism he has.
All right, Karen, let's look at the actual football games this weekend because, I mean, there aren't a lot of good ones outside the Chiefs. But let's talk about one that features 2 teams that we both prominently put into the I don't know category yesterday on the show. We have Seattle taking on the Jaguars in what I will claim is the I don't know bowl. Who do you think walks out with the victory and now we claim they are good between the Seahawks and Jags?
That is a great question. You know what? I am going to take Jacksonville to win that game. I feel like I'm taking them largely because they're at home. But I will say, if there is a place for just a letdown spot, it is this home game against Jacksonville. You had a very emotional Monday Night Football win, and now you got another good team in Seattle. They're a slight favorite at a 1.5-point favorite. Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to take them with the plus money at home. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to keep things rolling.
On to the, I think, maybe best, second best. Depends on where you put Chiefs-Lions at, but it's one of the best games, if not the best game of the weekend. I'm, of course, talking about Niners and Bucks, Carrington.
I don't think there's any question that's the second best game this weekend in the National Football.
This is why I paused. Do we think that's the best game or the second best game? Because record alone, that would be the best game.
The only reason I'm going to argue that it's not the best game is because of the injuries right now to Tampa Bay. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, so the game doesn't have as much shine on it.
Brock Purdy's still.
So yeah, I would say Sunday Night Football is the best game that we have this week, at least on this slate. I actually think the Monday night slate is great this week. Buffalo at Atlanta, Chicago at Washington. Those are 2 good games.
Who do you got between Bucks and Niners? That is the, I guess you won't be seeing this game because you'll be out at Arrowhead. That is the appetizer before Chiefs and Lions and what could be the second best team, if not the best team in the NFC, is at stake behind Detroit. Now that you open this, I'm talking about how Philadelphia is on shaky ground.
I'm going to be watching that game because I'm not coming to your tailgate if that game's not on the screen. You think I'm going to a tailgate in 2025 that ain't got the TV present? I need the TV present. There's a couple of things I need. You got the good drinks, the cold, ice cold beverages. You got a little bags. You got a football. What kind of food are we eating? Am I just eating hot dogs, or do you got a real spread? If you got a real spread, then invite me and I'm there.
Who you got? Niners, Bucks.
Niners go on the road and get the upset.
Wow.
Niners on the road.
Mac Jones.
Yeah. I don't know who Brock Purdy. I was struggling with that one. Brock Purdy is a little bit banged up, and Mac Jones is questionable for this one. So I don't know. They got Steve Young gonna be playing quarterback for them? Are they gonna have Jeff Garcia?
By the way, I just want to mention
Tim Rattay. Do you remember Tim Rattay?
Tim Rattay. I just want to mention that before we sign out of here. I do want to mention that we forgot to do this earlier. I'll mention it here. 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Baker University. Regards to earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu.
Shout out to Baker University, man. I'm going to a Baker basketball game this year. You coming to a Baker basketball game?
I'll go to a Baker basketball game. You know what? Baker football could beat K-State.
You said that. I didn't say that. All right. I look forward to seeing you potentially out at Arrowhead. It's the first time I've been to Arrowhead in a very, very long time. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Mizzou, Alabama. I'm just looking forward for a great weekend in football and can't wait to talk to you guys about it coming up next week. Take care of yourself. And until then, you know what? I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.